Are eating lunch. Hello, everybody. Hey.
We're in the building.
We are in the building at Scoreboard. We're at the OG, like legendary OG place.
Yes, it feels very OG. Like you come in here, it's the original. This is like original party tailgate area for Opryland.
And
this
it's
where it goes
still
down.
going on.
It is.
There's a party here today.
It is. So stop by.
Yeah, so Brent Doherty is missing the party, and I'm not going to lie. If he saw what was going on outside of Scoreboard right now, he would be very jealous that he's not here.
He missed the show, maybe.
Yeah,
we had to drag him in here.
Hey, he's sitting in heat instead, watching kid baseball.
Right,
which is good too. But I'm Dawn Davenport, and my partner Ron Slade.
Hey,
there we go.
And from Nashville, Tennessee, at 6'8", at power forward, Ron Slade.
Y'all better buckle up, because this car ain't got no roof.
Yes. No roof is needed, man. No roof is needed in this weather right now. Just an AC unit.
Ooh.
And a lot of ice.
It is
water.
Brutal. Hey, I like that intro considering today is the NBA draft.
This is very true, Babsy. And one thing about it being the NBA draft, you walk into it, man, and if you give a damn about your reputation, you're in the wrong place. That's Babsy. See?
By the way, Joan Jett is performing next Thursday here in Nashville.
Wow.
Do you guys realize that?
I've been hearing the promo, but now I know. I put it two and two together.
You better get Joan Jett on our show.
I am on it.
On it. Get on it.
Make it happen.
That her song is my spirit animal song. It's my intro. We have to have Joan Jett on 3HL.
It's only right.
Make it happen.
Get on it.
All right. So busy show today. I mentioned the NBA draft. I was thinking about it actually last night.
Right.
And I was like, you know what? I never heard Ron Slade's entire draft story. Like I did not remember how it all went down for you, because I know coming out of Tennessee, you kind of expected to hear your name called at some point.
Yes.
So I texted you. I was like, are you good to talk about everything that went on? I just think it's fascinating. Like, what are these players going through? How is it different now than maybe it was when you came out? I mean, you keep in touch with a lot of the younger players. You serve as a mentor to a lot of them. So we're going to get into your draft story. I have a feeling it's going to be like no roof kind of story.
Oh, yeah, without question. It did exactly that. It went down. Like, it went downhill. But it's all good, man. So, yeah, I haven't really shared that story, but you know, since we're on 3HL, man, we're going to make it happen today. This is exclusive.
There you go. Exclusive Ron Slade draft story. And what all went down, that'll come up at 5:20. Also, we've got, speaking of OGs, we got Ramon Foster on at 3:20. We'll kind of talk about what, Titans players do, what NFL players do during this part,
right?
How that changes when you're a rookie, as to when you're healthy, when you're more of the veteran guy. Like, how does it all change, and what's your priority? So we'll talk to Ron Slade from J. Martin Ramon in the morning at 3:20, and then Greg Cosell.
Yep, Cosell. We're gonna go around the whole league with Cosell. We're gonna tap into a lot of things that have been on a lot of people's mind, been hitting the headlines, and find out exactly what these people mean to the game, the guys that are walking away, the guys that we've lost, like Saragusa, guys walking away like Gronk, guys holding out like Lamar. So we'll be able to touch all that. And then hop around the AFC South to kind of get an idea of, who's going to be who coming into the season as far as expectation-wise.
Yeah, the early idea.
There you go. So, the early idea.
Early idea. Anytime you want to jump in the discussion today while we are live here at Scoreboard, please do. 615-737-1045 is the phone number. Anything you want to talk about, maybe you're watching college baseball in Omaha. By the way, I don't know if you saw one of my favorite things to track and watch during the College World Series is the number of Jell-O shots that each team's fan base consumes. Amazing. Arkansas is just killing everybody.
They blowing it away. I got to see, what's the count now? That's what we need to figure out.
It's got to be even more. I don't know, but the last time I looked, it was over 10,000.
What?
Which is a record. So if you don't know, this is a bar basically
Goodness
across
gracious.
the street. Every single year for the College World Series, they keep track of the fan bases and how many Jello shots each fan base consumes during the College World Series.
Right.
Well, Arkansas has just like blown it out of the park.
I mean, if that's the case, though, you got to win. If you need any other kind of motivation as a player, let me get wind of that, and I'm going to represent the right
Our
way.
fan base
Come on now.
is dominating
Come
the
on,
Jello
man.
shot competition. So
we can't lose.
do you know how much
I have
money?
the updated number for you from about an hour ago.
Hit us.
Ole Miss just took the lead in Jello shots.
Oh,
Wow.
8,766. Arkansas is second with 8,378.
Oh,
the only
my.
reason that Ole Miss took the lead is because somebody purchased 2,000 Jello shots for everybody, and the total came to $9,000.
$9,000 worth of Jello shots from an Ole Miss person.
Hey, man.
Yes.
You know,
What?
hey, you know what part of that might have been? Little sadness. Arch Manning
yep.
decided that Ole Miss was not where
Yep.
he was going to end up. Yep. Well, let's
That
at
can hit a
least.
little different.
Hey, we just lost that, and you know there's Texas fans there, even though they're done. You know there's Texas fans
hanging
still
around.
in Omaha. So Ole Miss was like, man, we got to win something. We lost on the Arch Manning.
They're rubbing it in. Man.
lost that sweep.
Golly, man. You know what, though, Babs? I'm like, if you're Bill Cosby, you got to be sick at the route that you went, because Jello right now, that stock got to be, it might be too early for that, huh?
Yeah, I
Okay,
forgot
my bad.
about that.
Yeah. Stock
But
might be
that's
through the
okay.
roof, dog.
Yeah.
It might be through the roof, man. I'm just saying, man. Jello is hitting.
So what was that? So that was 2,000 Jello shots at
That's
what?
crazy.
$4.50 each.
Oh my gosh. Do you know what that bar makes in Jello shots in this too?
Wow.
I mean, that's over. I was told there was no math in this career.
Yeah, and
Like,
see,
but
I was trying to get
that's
my
like-
calculator out fast.
I mean, if you look at even just the two teams on Jello shots, you're
Mhm.
looking at over $50,000 in Jello shots.
that's crazy.
I know that they donate a bunch of money to like local organizations,
Do they?
like nonprofits. Yeah, the bar does a good job of doing that. But still,
I wonder, do they make renovations to the bar and everything? Like that's $9,000 right there for 2,000.
the last time I was in Omaha, the only time I was in Omaha was Vanderbilt's first ever trip, ever. And it was the first year in the new park. So it's been a while.
Right.
So I wouldn't know.
I wonder what they did. What Vandy did. Did they show out? They go Jello crazy?
I don't think so.
No, but it's
I don't-
probably focused on the game.
I
Yeah.
have a total for you as of an hour ago, how much money the bar has made just from Jello shots.
Just Jello shots.
Hold on. Before you say it, Hunk, over under, Babs.
Ooh,
50,000? Over under.
over.
I'm gonna go over too. What is it, Hunk?
Actually, that over is flown by because it almost lapped the 50,000. It is $82,107 that they have made from Jello shots.
Man, they about to spend 100,000 on Jello shots.
That is unbelievable.
Wow. Whoever knew that it would mean this much more in the SEC?
Everybody.
Everybody.
Greg
Everybody.
Sankey.
Yes, exactly.
Hey, speaking of, I want to have this conversation at some point. I know we're about to have Ramon on next segment, but with the Arch Manning news, you know, and for those that don't pay attention to recruiting, Arch Manning, nephew of Peyton?
Yep.
It's Cooper's
son. Yep.
Yeah, Cooper's son, the top player in the class of 2023,
Yep.
quarterback, you know, has this Twitter account, doesn't follow anybody, but has, you know, tons of followers, tweeted his first ever tweet today, committed to the University of Texas. By the way, if you listen to 3HL, like
Talk to him,
3
Babs.
months ago, you would have known that Arch was going to go to Texas.
Yep. We said it.
Remember, I was like, little
Babsy broke it.
birdie,
Yep.
little birdie told me that Texas is the one. But then when Cutcliffe
Pulled out.
left,
Yep.
I was like, maybe not. But there you go. So Arch Manning's first ever tweet from his account said, committed to the University of Texas, #hook 'em. So here's my question for SEC fans that we'll get into in at maybe the 340 segment. Do you want Texas and Oklahoma early?
Ooh.
Especially with Arch Manning, top player in the class of 2023.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want them in the league earlier than 2 years?
That's a good question. I think you almost want to ask Texas also. The Texas fans out there, do they want to join the SEC?
100%. Texas and Oklahoma are all in, right?
Man.
I mean,
that's a good question.
It's not easy, but I'm just curious what other fans think. Because what I look at it, if I take myself out of like this position, right, out of the media position, just as an Auburn fan, I'm like, whatever.
Right.
Let them stay there.
Right. Yeah, we're cool.
We'll see them. We'll see them. Yeah. It's all right. We got plenty of other.
Yeah, we got some stars over
opponents. Yeah, we're good. But I mean, you know how much money Texas has and will bring, and now with Arch Manning.
You know what I want to know though, Babsy, when it comes down to it, because we know Peyton will be in the building.
Which
UT? Come on, man.
Ooh.
I need to know, and I know he's a purist. I'm talking about orange running through his veins.
But that's family.
Team? That's okay. But I thought we was family.
What would you do? It's hard. I'm trying to find an example.
That's a good example.
But it would be like Ramon's son. Yep. But see, but Ramon's a Tennessee guy.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say. But let's say Ramon's son went to Texas.
Or Vandy for baseball. He's a baseball guy. So
okay, let's say he goes to Vanderbilt. Who do you cheer for?
I'm most definitely cheering for Ramon Foster Jr.
Yeah.
Individually.
Yes.
When they play Tennessee.
Are you wearing orange?
Hey, man, I love my nephew. Ain't you got to go down on this one. You got to go down, June. I can't cheer for you. I'm going Vols.
Really?
I'm going Vols. I love him, and he know it. See, the good thing is he knows it. I wonder, does Arch know it? Does Arch know it? That's the question.
Does Arch care?
You know what?
I bet he doesn't care.
Probably that's why he went to Texas.
I bet RJ wouldn't care either.
Yeah, no, he wouldn't. Now he would try to dominate it.
It would be even more fun
for him to beat him.
For them to beat him. Yep, factually. Exactly.
Yep.
All right, so here's the deal. Come hang out with us. We are at Scoreboard Bar and Grill. What's the address?
2408 Music Valley Drive. Come on through.
Yes, come on. We'll be here the entire show. They have a ton of stuff going on outside, too. They have one of those, like, it's basically tents with misting in it. So even if you want to sit outside and enjoy the beautiful weather, even though it's a little hot, they've got misting tents out there. They're doing all of these giveaways, like Traeger Grill is here. They have a Traeger Grill giveaway and much more going on.
Concert giveaway too.
Yeah, there's music going on out there. They're going to grill up samples of American almond beef burgers and steak.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Traeger's rolling out there.
There's a whole lot going on. I guess there's a Keith Whitley tribute concert that they're giving away tickets to. There's just a whole lot going on. So come join us. Come out here, grab a bite to eat. You ate.
I did. Really good. I don't know who back there on the grill, but I just know you come in and you ask for Trevor. That was my waiter, man. Trevor put it down, man. He led me the right way. Smoked wings, phenomenal. Good old all-American burger. Can't miss it with that. You know, I put that cheese and the grilled onions and grilled mushrooms. Hey, I know how to eat. I do know how to do that.
I have bad breath now. Glad you're far enough away.
That's right.
All right, we've got Ramon Foster from J Mart and Ramon talking NFL offseason, little break for the players right now. What goes on? We will tap in with Ramon Foster on 3HL. This is 104.5 The Zone. Stick around.
I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. Banks are great for car loans, but when you need a home loan, you need an expert. We'll get you pre-approved the day you call in, lower rates, and with our 21-day closing guarantee, you'll be in your dream home in weeks.
The most important part of Pat was she wanted everyone that played for her to be the best they could be, and she was going to drag it out of you.
Exactly. And, you know, the thing also looking back at just the recruiting process, she never promised me that I would play. She never promised me that I'd be a starter. She never promised me that I'd play X amount of minutes. What she told me was, if you work hard, you will play. If you learn the Lady Vol system and learn my way, you will have the opportunity to play, and I will push you beyond measure. And I think hearing that, okay, like, yeah, it sounds great. Actually living it and being a part of it is totally different. It's like, man, what you said, you really expect me to do. And as a freshman coming in, it was really, really hard at first, just trying to learn that system. But then, throughout the 4 years, and I'm so blessed. We are so blessed because literally our team, like, I had front row seats to the best coach in the world ever. I had front row seat to how to be humble, how to carry yourself with grace, with poise, how to handle all the mess that was thrown at her through so many different arenas of her life, of how she was able to handle herself. We all had front row seats to that. So now, like, when I go through things and when I go through issues, like, I really do think about what would Pat do? How would Pat handle this? And it's crazy that even this far removed from being at University of Tennessee and with Pat not being here, I always say this. I'm like, Pat, while she's not physically here in the physical realm, like, she lives within each one of us as Lady Vols and every single person that ever had any interaction with her.
Catch y'all. I want everybody.
I just got chills.
Yeah, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
I just got chills.
Catch. Wow.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
It's tough to encapsulate Pat, but man.
Yeah.
That was pretty darn good.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Kaz, let me ask you this. I can't wait to watch the film. I should have drove up there, so I should have seen it early.
I tried to get you up there with me.
You did. They wouldn't let me off, but Catch, you got that championship, and this is what I want to know. That's that season, man. But to chase it year after year, what was that like, getting a new crop? You came in as a freshman knowing how serious it was when you got there, and how, a little bit of nervousness was there. But did that nervousness leave as you going into your senior year and seeing this new crop of young ladies come in and be Lady Vols? How was that to try to pass it down from your freshman year to you going into a senior year and passing it down to this new crop coming along?
Yeah, not really nervousness. I wouldn't call it nervousness. I would call it, one of the things coming in, and I would just say, like, coming in as a freshman with KJ and Shmeekwa and, Lori Milligan and Brene Latkin, those were actually our seniors. But coming in, and they set the tone for us. And so I think the biggest thing is you, like, go from freshman to sophomore, junior, senior, you're always trying to set the tone for the underclassmen.
Mm-hmm.
This is how we do things. This is how we handle ourselves. Like, you try to do it like the lady. I mean, we say it, the Lady Vol way.
Right.
There's other ways, and then there's the Lady Vol's way. And even if you want to get even like in a smaller circle, there's the Pat Summit way. And this is how we do it. This is how we carry ourselves. And, I think I know there's some people that, I think what Pat had to learn how to do was allow some people a little bit more space, because we all were so different in our own, where we come from, and just team sports in general, people from all different realms of life get thrown into this little bucket, and we have to figure out how to work together. And I think Pat had a really good way of allowing us the space to be ourselves, but then also, like, challenging us to fit into the puzzle piece, like, to be one of those puzzle pieces, so that we could, at the end of the day, win a championship, and at the end of the day, have the success, not only as a basketball player, but even more so, like, as people when we leave the college game.
Mm-hmm.
I love that you said that, and I'm not going to spoil a bunch of stuff in the documentary, but along those lines, watching it was so cool, because the filmmakers brought you and three of your other teammates from that team together and basically sat you in the old locker room and just let you guys chat. And my takeaway from it, from just listening to you guys talk and reminisce on that season, was the closeness, the win together at all costs, the chemistry of that team that you could even feel now, like 20 years later when you guys were talking. And that was amazing to me. And you had said in one of those interviews, like, you wanted to win that national title for Pat and for your teammates, and then for yourself. But, like, it was, just the closeness and the chemistry and the win for each other part of that team. Like, how that was your freshman year, so obviously you were young, but how special, when you look back at it, was that?
Well, it's all about family.
Yeah.
It's super special that you can And it's funny just thinking about me being there last night and talking to KJ. And it's like, I call it KJ. And some people, like people that weren't around are like, okay, who's KJ? I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. She's met like Kelly Harper. Like, that's what everybody knows.
That's
but,
Coach. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, like, like, come on. But it's so cool that we can all go and live our own lives. But then when we come together and, you know, like I talk to Samika and Ace quite a bit. I don't get to see them, but I talk to them. And then KJ, obviously, I get a chance to see because I'm commentating. So here and there, I get to see her, and Kyra and Naya and, you know, some of the other players I get to see here and there. But it's always cool, like no matter what. When I go to Kentucky and I have to do the games and I sit there with Kyra and Naya before, it feels like we are just back in college, hanging out. They're joning on me, I'm joning on them. Like something happens, talking about outfits, talking about, you know, we're just talking about basketball. And it is great because that is what is important. The family and us being together, that was important then, and being able to win for each other. And Pat was like, don't worry about individual accolades. Let's worry about the team accolades. All of the other stuff will come, but here we worry and we focus on each other, and we focus on, I need to make the next person.
Scoreboard Bar and Grill. They got the College World Series on here. I see a little Woo Pig Suey signs on the TV. Come watch that. The Woo Girls. Hey, speaking of Woo Girls, real quick, Slade, didn't you meet the bus?
I did,
One of the classic buses.
Yes, the Redneck Tour. The Redneck Tour. You know, he came up to me. His name is Lenny. Lenny came up to me and said, "Hey man, I really love listening to you guys' show. I know y'all want to get on that bus." I said, "You know what? Yes, we do."
You know why?
Why?
Because that bus ain't got no roof.
Bus ain't got no roof. That's right. And so shout out. Hey. Oh, yes. Oh, come on.
This guy has no roof either. You can listen to him in the morning, and Ramon Foster with his own intro too joins us now live on 3HL.
How are you? Ramon. You know. Say my name. Ramon. What? Say my name. I don't have a damn clue who the hell you are. Do you respect the bad guy?
Ramon, how are you doing? Are you staying cool out there?
Hey, absolutely. I'm under some AC right now, Don. Can I say something real quick, too?
Sure.
Don, two things. When you said, speaking of Woo Girls, I thought you was going to bring me in, and I was going to get really offended by that, okay?
Don't worry. I got your back. I'll offend you sometime later during this conversation, I'm sure.
You said that, and then I got to give it up to you because I heard y'all talking about it in an opening segment. For you to be an SEC girl, you will chant other teams like chants and stuff without a problem at all. Me, I'm not saying anything. When you went like Woo Pig, I was like, what? Don really did that as a War Eagle?
You know what I did the other night? Go Vols.
Yeah, she did that.
And go Lady Vols.
On Rocky Top, too.
Yeah. In my that drop's got to go. Yeah. In my Tennessee orange dress on top of it, by the way. Hey, so speaking of UTs, we were just talking, you heard our opening segment. We were talking about Arch Manning, who committed today to the University of Texas, 2023 recruit, quarterback, supposedly is, going to change the game and all of those things. And so we had the conversation of Peyton Manning. This is his nephew. Mm-hmm. Does he wear a different shade of orange? Yay, nay. Oh. Because we kind of likened it to Ron Slay.
Yeah.
And little Ramon, RJ. Like, what if he went to Vandy to play baseball? And Slay was like, I don't know if I could. I don't know if I could wear those colors.
Yeah, I heard y'all. So, man, RJ or Miles, we have a rule in this house now. I don't know what it'll turn into by the time they graduate, but my only rule was no Alabama. But if they chose to go wherever they want to,
Smart.
I'm cool. Where else? And Kentucky. See, even my wife is in on this. Okay?
That's right. That's right, Keish. We ain't going.
It was either no Kentucky or no Alabama. But if that's where they want to go, hey, have at it, do your thing. So I've actually had my high school coach, Coach Johnny McAdams. He played at the University of Tennessee. His son was a punter at the at Mississippi State.
Oh.
And you know what he did? When we played each other in college, because he graduated the year after me, Coach Mack would only wear black.
Oh,
he would
neutral.
only wear black as a ball to support him. He was just like, I'm with you, but I respectfully got to decline the school colors. Now, me being a dad, though, I would probably at the most wear a hat in support. Mm-hmm. And if those two schools were playing each other, I'd have to go neutral. You see me in something tan. Let's say if they went to Georgia or something like that. I'd either have to go tan, or you just have to find me in somebody sweet trying to hide. You wouldn't tan that
silver, gray. Yeah.
Hey, let me ask you this, Savagery. Now, what would you expect me to do? And what do you think June, who RJ, that's what I call him, June, so I'm gonna keep it like this, so we just talking. What would you expect June to expect out of Uncle Ron, man, when he had it? Now, I already said individually, I'm cheering for him. Like, I want him to dominate. But what you expect me to do when I walk in there?
See, this is where we're at. Okay. Now, you got to understand the dynamic, too. You would definitely wear Tennessee on, 100%. Mm-hmm. So much so that you would just, I ain't going to say you would aggravate them, but the relationship would be, listen up. I love you, but I bled at this school, okay? And all that would turn into is a friendly back and forth where it would be trash talking.
Yep.
And I'll be real with you. I would welcome it because that would make him compete even more. I think anybody in that position, the athletics, the competitive side of it would make you want to compete even more to the fact that, look, I want to prove my uncle, dad, aunties, whoever wrong.
Yep.
So I don't think you're wrong in that assessment.
Okay,
see?
Sounds right.
There you go.
See, that's what I'm saying. They know what to expect.
I love the SEC, by the way.
It means so much more.
This is the only conference you have this conversation in, right?
Right.
Yes. Okay, let's shift gears here to the NFL. So I have Hunk sent us the training camp reporting dates and locations for all of the teams. The Titans, the rookies, will report on July 23rd. So everybody kind of has about a month to do whatever they're going to do before the grind really begins. What did you do in your younger days in that break before camp came up?
Man, I think that the biggest thing that you can do at this time of the year, your strength is already there. If I'm benching 395 right now, I'm probably not going to hit 425 by the time camp is over with. So the strength component is pretty much out of it. What I did, and my trainer James will tell you, it was running. That's all we were going to do. We're going to lift. We're going to do core, and we're going to run a crap ton. That's all I did, because anytime we broke camp, and I'm sure Coach Rabel is like that, be in your best shape. Coach Tomlin would tell us, physical conditioning precedes anything else. If you can't be out here and perform at the highest rate day in and day out because you're out of shape, you don't matter to us. And he said it so much, so often, that when I came back here to Tennessee on a day like this where it was high 80s, low 90s, humidity like crazy, all I had to do was tell him, look, we're going to run. And I cussed him out. I talked trash the entire time. I tried to get people to come work out with me just so I can prepare myself to get through that workout, because I knew if I was in tip-top shape, at least as my recovery and conditioning, that I would survive camp. So for the guys that's trying to figure out the recipe to surviving camp, the worst thing you can do is day one, fail the conditioning test. Whatever you need to do to get ready for that, handle it. Because at the end of the day, Babs, you're an athlete. Ron, you're an athlete also. You know that the sport itself, I won't say it's easy, but that's going to come more natural to you if you're in shape. So that was the only thing I was focused on, Babs. Core, and conditioning. That's all that mattered in this last month before training camp.
So if you're Traylon Burks, what are you doing right now? It's 100 degrees outside in Nashville.
I would look at the practice schedule and how long or what time they would be practicing.
Yeah.
I would, if I was him, I would go outside and run. I would condition myself to the environment, to what humidity is as far as attacking me. And he got to find a pro-style trainer, too. I don't think it's appropriate for him to be training like he's a college athlete anymore because the game is a little bit different. Now, you do want to go harder, but you got to understand, I'm working you out to work through plays. We're going to do some long-distance stuff one day, but then we're going to do some play-by-play stuff as far as run, stop, ramping up your heart rate and bringing it back down as quick as we can to see where your recovery is. He's got to be outside. But I'll say the other point of this is, too bad, you drafted this guy in the first round because of one skill that he has, and that's catching the ball and making plays. He has to be able to do drills outside to where he's catching the ball running. It can't just be, let me just make sure I'm the fastest guy on the field. For a guy like him, he got to find a all-season coach that's going to cater to his position also. The next year, I would say next year, he will be at a point to where he's got to figure out, okay, I got to cater to what the NFL season is. Right now, the biggest component to him as far as surviving training camp will be his conditioning. That's long-distance runs on the field, whether it's 110 within a session, and I think it's 30-yard runs here, 50-yard runs, and then doing like a 60 and back like that, where he would be, or where I would say I would cater my training sessions with a guy like him. The asthma stuff, acclimation. You guys know that's more acclimation than it is an issue with anything else.
Yeah.
You just stay on top of it, man. Do you go into this, Savage? You always stay in touch with your vets and figure out what they're doing. And hey, man, when you heading back, this, that, and the other. Did you as a rookie, second year guy, third year guy, ever reach out to anyone, any of the vets, or as a vet, did you have any guys that came in and you were like, all right, let me grab hold of him real quick and let him know, hey man, this is what you got to do. So prepare this type of way. Or is it you're an athlete, you're a business, you're a professional, you go on with it as you do and you figure it out as you go. You take the lumps.
Well, I'll say in the first year, you really go in blind regardless. And then the next year, you saw how the vets in front of you worked. And then you see them in the weight room. I'd say I learned more from the training camp lifts from our veterans than I did at any other time during my young career. Was I watched what they did, how they came into camp, what they looked like. And I didn't necessarily ask questions. I just picked up on what was necessary to survive in the league, man. Like, you see guys, I didn't understand, honestly, lifting during training camp the way some of those guys did.
Right.
But if you don't lift, then your muscles break down, and then you have a longer time as far as recovery. Like, during the season, you're trying to maintain and not lose what you had. So it's not necessarily you're going to gain anything. I started into my second year, Ron and Don, to where some older guys pulled me to a training session and said, this is how we work. Like, we were pulling sleds on concrete roads. We weren't just doing the same lift that we were doing at our facility.
Yeah.
That's like old. I mean, that's like old school.
Yeah.
But think about the job, though. Like, you got to move bodies, that don't want to be moved. So what's the best part to do it? Well, load up a sled and push it on the concrete parking lot. That's the most effective way you're going to get as far as trying to figure it out. And one thing that I did try to do, too, is I tried to make sure that whatever condition we were practicing in at our training camp, I wanted it to be worse. I knew training in Latrobe, or training camp in Latrobe, Pennsylvania was going to be a little bit easier than what the weather was in Tennessee. So we trained sometimes at like 11 to 1, when it's hotter. I didn't necessarily want to go super early in the morning because that wasn't going to be the conditions that we were going to be doing training camp.
Right.
In. So I watched and I allowed guys to bring me in their fold also.
Yeah. So you look at this training camp reporting dates and locations. So some teams, like here, I'm looking at Buffalo, they start the earliest on July 18th. The rookies are there. And then July 23rd, the veterans come. But then you look at, Pittsburgh, the Steelers, July 26th for rookies and veterans. So what's kind of the difference as far as teams deciding, okay, rookies coming earlier, veterans coming later? What's your take on that?
It's just coaches just taking advantage of the system. If they can absolutely bring in a group of guys to get coached up quick, they will. That's the reason you got, the union, and you got, certain rules within the CBAs, because if you give coaches that crease, that option to bring guys in, they're going to do it. And the other part is, too, you want the rookies to get acclimated in a sense as far as what to expect when camp come in, because it was 2 eye-openers for me. When I first came in my rookie year, it was just the rookies during the springtime. And when the vets came in, the locker room wasn't your locker room anymore. If the veterans wanted a weight rack, you had to give that up. And the same thing kind of goes when training camp starts up. You need to know your system before the vets come in. You need to go lift at 6 o'clock in the morning. The vets are coming in at 7:30, so get out of the way as quick as you can. So it's probably a little of that protocol, but the other side of it is coaches are going to take as much time as they possibly can, Babs. Y'all know that.
Hey, any effect that the guys getting ready for the Hall of Fame game that has on the preparation of the season, or what is that? Because you played in that. You played in there before.
Yeah.
What is that? Is that different, or it's kind of like the same path you headed down?
No, it's a little different because one, it shortens your summer too as far as the preparation. So you got to be on it quick and then get out as far as you're recovering for training camp.
Right.
Coach Tomlin kind of really took care of the veterans, man. He gave us more days off when it really broke down to it. He will scale back a little bit as far as the amount of reps that the veterans were getting, because you're adding an extra game to it also. So you got to be conscious. Like, you're not really going to win a Super Bowl in training camp. So why would I work you even more so because we got the Hall of Fame game? Most guys really dislike it. It's not pointless because the ceremony is phenomenal. But as far as the extra practices, it's really just, you got to have a veteran-type coach that knows how to manage the workload. We've seen guys really break down over the years simply because, wear and tear and an extra game here or there. And now you got 17 games during the season.
Hey, I just want to share this with the people, man. I don't know if you remember this, Savage, but I came up there, man, to chill my brother. He had to get ready for the Hall of Fame game. And I said, you know what? It's in Canton. That's a cool little ride. I'm gonna just drive, man. I'm gonna drive down there to the Hall of Fame game. Man, I was stuck in traffic in Pittsburgh trying to go the back way or something, man, for about 2 hours. By the time I was about to get clear to go, man, I said, you know what, I'm going back to the house.
So you didn't go?
I didn't even go. I went back to the house and waited on them to finish and come back.
No, you did not.
Man, I did, man. You remember that, Savage?
Yeah, he didn't miss anything because I barely played. I'm more than sure I barely played.
Yeah. I was sick, man. Hey, boy. Oh, boy. Messing around in Pittsburgh.
You didn't miss anything. Pittsburgh streets are like that. It's really Nashville-esque, but Pittsburgh got like more one-ways and probably worse roads, too.
Yeah. I was just there in the spring. Yeah, it's bad. And there's a lot of like one-way roads where you go like under bridges. So there's no way to get around if there's an accident or something.
Oh, it killed me, Babs.
And then some of those neighborhoods that are like in hills. It's dark. I'm trying. Oh my God! I'm like trying to find one of my good friends from my TV days in Richmond lives in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to find her house. It's pitch black because it's, Friday night where I'm there to work a game. And these hills are so narrow. The roads are so narrow. You're trying to navigate it at night. There's like a stop sign not facing you. So you're like, am I going the wrong way? It's crazy.
It's bad.
It is crazy.
By the way, too, it's going to be interesting since Arch picked his school where everybody else falls. So I just thought about that while being on the phone with you guys. What happens to the rest of the recruiting world with Arch committing already?
Yeah,
I want to. That's going to be good, man. I appreciate y'all having me on.
Yeah, you mean like where did the big time offensive linemen want to go? Go protect Arch?
No, for real.
Yeah,
and the rest of the receivers.
Yeah, the receivers are what I want to see how it shakes out.
Yeah, that's hey, that one kid right there has moved the ticker when it comes down to college recruiting these days. I don't know if there's going to be a bigger recruit in the next 10 years, man.
That's crazy.
You're right. Well, we appreciate your big savagery, man. We'll let you get out here and enjoy the rest of your day, brother.
Anytime y'all need me, okay?
See ya, Ramon. There he is, Ramon Foster. almost 12 years in the NFL, and you can catch him on the mornings with J-Mart and Ramon as well. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about Arch Manning.
Right.
We'll talk about SEC fans. You want them in early? Yay, nay? Let us know, 615-737-1045. This is 3HL on 1045 The Zone.
Music City.
3HL 1045 The Zone. Brent Doherty, Ron Slade, Don Davenport. Jury duty still going.
Still in there.
She texted us this morning, a lowercase a. We thought that was a sign that she needed help.
Yeah.
We were going to go bust her out.
You put B, I put C. I put LOL. So, we told her all you got to do is send a signal. I don't think you need to send no smoke signal, so don't send nothing on fire now.
At Malik Willis is how you can get Malik Willis on Twitter. And the Titans rookie quarterback joins us now. Malik, have you ever had jury duty, man? You ever been called for that?
No, I haven't been on jury duty yet. That's a blessing.
That's a blessing.
It's not all bad, man. Actually, it's pretty interesting. So if you do it, do it. How's everything going over there? You acclimating yourself well over at St. Thomas Sportsplex?
I mean, it's super cool. I mean, I'm living a dream in all reality. It's just a major blessing, and I try to treat it as such. Just come to work every day and work as hard as I can and just be appreciative of all the people around here.
So is it all football all the time? Like, are you just completely immersed in football, or do you get a chance to get out and about a little bit?
I mean, mostly I'm immersed in football.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get to go grab a bite to eat every once in a while, but mostly football right now, just trying to, lock in and be where my feet at.
How complicated is an NFL playbook for a new quarterback, for a rookie quarterback?
I mean, as complicated as you want to make it. I mean, at the end of the day, it's football, and it's about how much work you're willing to put in to get it down. And like I said, it's football, so it's more terminology and understanding what we're trying to do on each play than anything else.
Malik Willis, Titans rookie quarterback, with us on 3HL. Obviously, third-round pick, and I know that had to be a frustrating situation. Vegas had you, 2 days before the draft as the first quarterback taken. What was that process like? How frustrating was it, and how much do you use that as motivation?
I mean, not really any, to be honest. I mean, like I say, I'm in a blessed position, brother. God gonna put me where he need me to go. Can't nobody block your blessings, so everything happened how it's supposed to, man. I'm 3.5 hours away from home. I'm getting the opportunity to play at the next level. What more can I ask for? We can stop being greedy and just, be appreciative sometimes. I mean, it's cool either way it goes. Like, yeah, it would have been a bigger signing bonus, but at the end of the day, it's the same opportunity, you know what I mean? So I don't too much be, ungrateful for the opportunity.
God pays the path, doesn't he?
Yeah, definitely.
Pastor Slay, what do you think about Malik Willis here?
I like Malik. I like Malik so far, man. He's, seems like he's grounded in his faith, man. A stand-up young man, and got some great things ahead of him. Do we want to throw Malik in the boom boom room?
You want to throw him in the boom boom room
Malik,
now?
let me ask you a question, Malik, early too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how acclimated you are to the city and to your new job and the fun that you're about to have. But have you heard of the boom boom room yet?
I haven't.
You haven't heard of the boom boom room, so let me explain exactly.
Real quick before you throw him in the boom boom room, this is on Jared Puffer for not warning you about the boom boom room.
Yes, it
is.
So
go ahead and shoot him a look, and and we'll go ahead and do it.
Hey, Malik. Now this is the thing: in the boom boom room, if you agree to go into the boom boom room, you have to tell the entire truth to the best of your ability. Do you agree to those terms? And that's the only way you can get out of the boom boom room if you answer everything truthfully. Do you agree to this?
Yeah, I agree. I ain't got nothing to hide.
Oh, look at that. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Well, put him in now.
Yes. One man on his way into the boom boom room.
Yes, sir. Malik Willis, people, is now into the boom boom room. Brought to you by Low T Center. We're going to do this real light, have a little fun with it, Malik. This is all just straight off the dome. Now, you answer to the best of your ability truthfully. I need to know, what does the term running quarterback mean to you?
It means somebody who would rather run the ball and throw it, in my opinion. That's why I don't really too much like it, but everybody going to have their opinions. We all got one.
I like
Everybody's entitled to one.
You are exactly right. Now,
it's more of a derogatory term in a sense. Like, how can you be a running quarterback when a quarterback's job is to, throw the ball? But it is what it is.
You, how appropriate. Come on out, Scoreboard Bar and Grill.
Yes.
Over here by Opry Mills.
2408 Music Valley Drive. Pull up on us.
Yes, come see us. They got a lot going on out here. They're grilling up samples of American almond beef burgers outside. They're giving away a Traeger grill on, I believe, Saturday. We're getting ready for a big weekend of NASCAR well here in Music City. And you can sign up to win that grill. They've got like a misting tent out there. A whole lot going on, and you can come hang out with us.
And this is where you come when you want to prep for speedway, race cars, the racetrack itself. Like, it's only one way to prep that I've been told, and that's to make sure you drink. So you drink, you get hydrated, and you drink some more. So come on out here and join us, man.
A couple of perks with Scoreboard, free parking, plenty of parking out here. They've got indoor and outdoor seating. It's nice and cool in here. A bunch of TVs, over 60 TVs. We've got, what do we have? We have everything on. We have College World Series going on. We have MLB extra innings on. I don't know what this
golf
is behind me, but that's
track and field.
We got track and field. I mean, there's so much stuff on. They have smoked meats, which you had some smoked meats.
Yes, I did.
Prior,
really good.
Oysters, bushwhackers. They've got frozen drinks. I mean, the list goes on.
What's a bushwhacker drink?
Yeah, it's actually like a milkshake, but with alcohol. It's my wife's favorite drink.
Oh, wow.
Have you not had a bushwhacker?
No, milk.
Let
if
me
it ain't
tell
cereal.
you. Okay, that thing though will knock you on your. I mean, I'm telling you.
Oh, wow.
During my earlier party days in Nashville,
there one every now and then.
There have been some holes in certain nights because of a bushwhacker.
What is that? That's the perfect name. What up, huh?
There is seriously, if I ever want my wife to try a new joint, I just tell her, hey, they sell bushwhackers. She's automatically in.
Oh,
Are you serious? Like, I can't drink those things.
Man.
Yeah, she can only drink one, but she's in.
Oh, it's
you have more
real
than one
strong,
and you're done.
I might want to be done.
I'm totally going to get you to try one. Although I struggle to get you to try new things.
But guess what? I always end up doing it, though, Babsy.
You and finish.
Some of them are good.
Thank you.
Some of them are good. Hey, man, you got to come on in here. Come inside, man. Great conversation. See a lot of people in here socializing with each other, hanging out, checking out the show, man. And one thing about it, we've got sports topics to hit on. So you can hit on that, and you can talk about a little bit of anything because we're in the summer, baby.
Yes.
And
we got like Gator Mike and Hair Metal Henry.
Yeah, Gator Mike.
We've got like
Got plenty of people in there, man.
We got the legendary 104.5 listeners hanging out here. So come hang out with us. Big news of the day, at least when it comes to college football, is Arch Manning announcing that he will attend the University of Texas. And, Ramon was talking about how that will eventually affect kind of the rest of the recruiting landscape.
Yeah.
And first of all, his tight end, his high school teammate, 3-star guy, had already committed to Texas earlier this week. I'm sure that he already knew.
Yeah.
Especially because we had heard whisperings of it, 3 months ago. So, there's one. But, there's a lot of talk. His high school coach spoke to ESPN, and he talked about the maturity that Arch showed throughout this whole process, which I think we can probably all agree on. I can't imagine the pressure on this kid. The Manning name, the talk about, the 5-star, the next coming at quarterback, the this and this and this. Is he going to go to Ole Miss with that side of the family? Is he going to go to Tennessee on that side of the family? No, he chooses his own path, which will eventually be in the SEC as well in 2025.
And a school called UT.
Right.
So
yeah. But he also chose a school, and this is what's interesting to me. He also chose a school that went 5-7 last year and lost to Kansas.
Yeah.
Like Kansas.
Yeah. And I don't think it's a knock to Kansas. It's just like who you are, though. You can't lose to Kansas if you're the big gun.
No.
Not in that conference.
But I know they have a couple of quarterbacks on that roster, so I don't know. Does he come in his freshman year and start? Maybe he can sit his freshman year and then kind of step in timing wise. It looks like when you look at the roster that will be appropriate.
Yeah.
But by 2025, they're in the SEC, and there you go, Arch Manning at Texas if everything works out. So I want to point out, I thought that he did show maturity with, I think, a lot of pressure. He wasn't tweeting. He tweeted nothing until this. His Twitter profile simply says high school recruit,
Right.
I mean, like he handled it the best way possible.
Right.
You saw him at his official visits. He went to, he made the most out of those.
Yeah.
You could see him
made
enjoying
his
himself,
rounds.
even though every eye was on him at all times.
Right.
And I thought he handled himself well. This is what I think is going to be interesting. Sark.
Yeah.
Pressure is on now,
Yeah.
dude.
Yep. You got a year of an incubation period right here, and this year coming up. But when he comes, it's decisions to be made, and I think you do buy yourself a year, if possible, by letting them sit. So,
Yep. And you can.
right, right, and that's a whole different conversation, Babs. Like these high 5-stars coming in with these big major deals,
And a lot of pressure.
and not only pressure from the media and the fan base, but what about the people that's signing these checks for the NILs? Like you talked about earlier in the year, man. Hey man, we paid big bread for this guy to get here. We want to see him on the field.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, the pressure at Texas is ridiculous anyway.
Yep.
But now you start to put together this kind of recruiting class. You land the top quarterback in that class by far. And, all of a sudden the pressure is really on. Now, Tennessee fans are going to come at me too with, hey, they got a pretty good quarterback.
Oh, without question.
That's supposed allegedly committed as well. But it's going to be interesting to watch. It's going to be interesting to watch how Sark handles that pressure too. Now, if I'm an SEC fan, I don't want Texas in any earlier than you have to have them. We're good. SEC's good. This is also coming from an Auburn girl. And I'm not going to lie, Auburn is a little bit of a Shiano show right now.
Just right now, though.
At
They
least
know
on
to get
paper,
it together. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We want you to add in on the 615-737-1045. Hit us up, man. Let us know about this Arch Manning deal. You want Oklahoma and Texas right on into the SEC. We'll hit it up as soon as we get back at the 4 o'clock hour. This is 3HL, people.
Loan pronto in 10 seconds.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly. Thinking you need a big down payment to buy a house? Well, you don't. So stop searching for the money. At thehomeloanexpert.com, we can get you in the home of your dreams with no money down. Get pre-approved today at thehomeloanexpert.com.
See, talking about Arch Manning and everything that he has going on as far as being the number one guy in his class and committing. But you posed a better question, I think, at the end of that when you said, man, when you come in, it'll be great for him to be able to sit. The interesting part of that, this is the number one guy coming in and a quarterback of all spots. So to sit at a school like Texas,
I mean, it might not happen.
It's almost like Nico coming in to University of Tennessee. Do the fans expect him to sit?
No.
You know what I'm saying? So what do you do with a guy that's coming along and developing like a guy? What's his name? Trevor Jackson? Am I saying his name right? I'm not saying his name right. The kid from Indianapolis that committed to the University of Tennessee is at Tennessee now. Thank you, everyone, for helping me. But the kid's last name is Jackson from Indianapolis, and they got him, and he's behind Hendon Hooker right now, and he's doing a great job in spring. I can only imagine he get better. So when Hendon Hooker leaves, he has the ability to step in for him. But with Nico right there, how do you say, hey, Nico, we may be – okay, we got a competition. We got a competition between you and Jackson.
Here's the thing.
Okay,
NIL changes everything.
Yes, it does.
Transfer portal changes everything.
Right.
That's what is going to be fascinating to watch with some of these big-time quarterbacks, too. Like nowadays, hey, I don't play immediately.
I'm gone.
A lot of kids are like, I'm gone.
Yep.
I mean, at the end of the day, as a coach, you're going to do whatever is best for you to win. That's
Right.
all that matters. So
that's what makes sense. Taven Jackson. I'm sorry. There we go. Taven Jackson. That's what I was talking about.
what'd you call him?
I call him Traven. Travion or something. Trevor. Trevor, that's our waiter. So come in here to Scoreboard Bar and Grill and holler at Trevor. Trevor gonna take care of you, man. He got me one of them cold-blooded Shirley Temples, man, that were phenomenal. The smoked wings.
You did have a Shirley.
That's right.
That's so funny. Do you know I drank those when I was like 10 years old?
Well, Babsy, sometimes I'm 10 years old. I just like.
Sometimes you
I
act
just look
like
old. I just look older on the outside. Hey, but that's where we are, man. So we've got that, man. As far as the Arch Manning, does Texas, if they do walk into the SEC, coming off a 5-7 season, do they automatically turn the corner? I doubt it. I wouldn't think so. So I think they still have their work cut out for them. And I think, like you said, it's more pressure on Sark than anybody else, especially in that situation in Texas.
Sorry, I just got distracted.
What happened, Babsy?
Well, my buddy Travis Haney just said, might want to check your tweet. And the Scoreboard account that we attached on Twitter is probably not the one we should tag on Twitter. It's not the right one.
Did we tag it?
I did.
Okay.
I tagged the wrong one.
Oh, hey, Babs. Oh, yeah, this one.
It's not good. Don't go look at it.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and delete that tweet. And you guys just come see us at the OG Real Scoreboard restaurant.
Right. That's right. And guess what, man? We do have people that want to weigh in, Babsy. We got people that Susan from Franklin wants to talk Arch Manning. Talk to us, Susan.
Hey,
how are you?
I'm just dandy. My car ain't got no roof.
Hey, Susan, car ain't got no roof. Yeah, that's right, Susan. Woo! Susan, I hope you got the AC on, though, if the roof missing.
That's right. It's blowing on it. All right, so you guys were talking earlier about for whom should Peyton root.
Mm-hmm.
Should he root for Tennessee or should he root for Arch and Texas?
Right.
I think another question is, who did Archie Manning root for when Peyton went to Tennessee?
Oh, yeah. Ole Miss, Tennessee, yeah.
What did he do?
That's a great question.
I don't remember.
It's a great question.
I
don't either.
I like that.
All right, yeah.
So tell me this, Susan, who would you root for? Your son has the opportunity. What school do you love?
Well, you're going to hate me, but the Ohio State.
Hey, listen, Susan, hey, we don't judge, especially in the summertime. So you got your son committed. You went to.
If I had a nephew,
there you go.
who went to that team, team up north.
Yeah.
The one that shall go unmentioned.
Yeah, that gold team, gold and blue team.
Please.
Taylor Lewan's team.
I would root for my nephew to do well as long as he lost to Scarlet and Gray.
There you go. See? There's nothing better than college football right there. College football.
You gotta love it. Thank you so much,
Good
Susan.
stuff. Thanks, Susan. All right, what about cousin Joey also on the line talking Arch Manning in Texas and Oklahoma and eventually joining the SEC. Hey, Joey, how are you?
I'm good, guys. How are y'all doing?
Good.
Doing good, brother.
Okay, so first off, I don't blame Arch at all because, being at, Ole Miss and that school out east, he has huge legacies to live up to with, his grandfather and his, one of his uncles going to Ole Miss, and then his other uncle out there at Tennessee. So I don't blame him for choosing Texas. But I do not think that Texas, Oklahoma, A&M, and Missouri should have ever been allowed to join the SEC. They are not southeastern schools. I would have rather seen like Louisville, West Virginia, and if you want to extend it again, maybe bring in, if they wanted to, Clemson and Georgia Tech, because that would, with the Louisville and Kentucky, that would solidify that rivalry. And then with, Georgia Tech, they play every year. That would also solidify. But I don't believe that just for the sake of expansion that they should have brought in those four schools.
Really?
That's I can understand. You know what, Joey? I understand that Georgia Tech one. The Clemson
would have been. I would have been okay with Clemson. But here's the deal: like if you don't bring in Texas A&M and now Texas, like you are missing the boat.
Yeah.
On so much money, on so much viewership, on all of that. So I see what you're saying, Joey, as far as like not Southeastern, but at the end of the day, I mean, all these conferences are jacked anyway.
Right.
At this point, but
you got West Virginia playing in the Big 12.
But you cannot. They needed to not ignore Texas. You can't ignore the amount of talent in that state alone.
Yeah.
You have to have in your conference some kind of tie. And for a long time until now, that was a part of Texas A&M's recruiting pitch. Hey, you get to come here and play in the best conference in college football. And there's just the fact that there's so much talent in that state and high school football is life and king. Like I was talking to Dice about this because I went on their podcast and I was born in Texas, born in Plano, Texas, lived there until 8th grade. That's when I moved to Peachtree City, south of Atlanta. And I mean, that's what we did growing up. I didn't have anybody I knew that played football at the high schools, but every single Friday night growing up, our whole family would get dressed in our Plano East Senior High shirts and go to the games on Friday night because that's what everybody in Plano did.
That's the
you
place
either
to be.
went to West or East. Back then there were only 2 schools. Now I think there's 4, but that's what you did growing up. Like high school football is king in Texas, and the talent pool in that state is unbelievable. That in Florida. And so that's where I disagree with you, Joey, as far as bringing in Texas A&M in the first place. Now, Missouri, that's a different conversation. You could have that argument. You can have that.
I'm fine with that.
I'm okay with that argument. But when it comes to Texas, you had to tap into that state. I just use tap in like you always.
There you go.
You had to tap into that state because of talent, because of money, all of that. So it makes sense. It made sense to me. It was a no-brainer. Now, I always said when they expanded, I would have rather them have Virginia Tech. Like I always felt like now I'm a little partial because I worked in Richmond, Virginia for 3 years, so I covered Virginia Tech.
You want to say?
I won't go back. I won't say how long ago that was, but so I saw a lot of Virginia Tech games in person, like a Thursday night in Blacksburg.
Right.
Is unbelievable. ESPN has always done a great job of documenting that atmosphere. Yeah. You know, I mean, you saw it the first game back after COVID that a lot of people had an issue with. But you've just seen that. I always felt like that campus, that atmosphere, the tailgating, that fan base, all of that was very SEC-like. So I always wanted Virginia Tech in. But the whole Texas thing, I mean, why not?
Yeah, I'm all in. I'm all in on that too.
Yeah.
Like, from a recruiting standpoint, from a money standpoint, everything. Like, why wouldn't you want me in? So, all right. Well, guess what?
What's the money? I'm trying to remember. I think it's almost $80 million that they would have to pay to the Big 12 if they came to the SEC early, which the SEC is like, we're not going to be it. What do we,
care.
Yeah,
we're going to make back?
Yeah, well, the new SEC TV deal starts, 2024, I think?
Yep.
So it's a year. Hunt, do you remember?
I'm trying to. You have the whole deal is the fact that it's not supposed to be till 2025 is when
they're supposed to join, and I think the new TV deal, the ESPN ABC takes over SEC in 2024, right?
Yeah, because
we have
is
1
actually
year.
the last year of the SEC on CBS.
Okay, yeah. So then I guess it doesn't.
You have to redo it again.
You're gonna have to redo it anyway. Yeah.
So what would you do if you're the Big 12 and Texas sits down with you and says, "Okay, we want to leave this season, but we will hand over the rights to the Longhorn Network so you can have a Big 12 network if you let us leave." They have no use for the Longhorn.
No, because the SEC network is going to run it.
Absolutely. They have no use for the Longhorn Network anymore, but the Big 12 does.
No, they need it.
Why would the Big? No. Why
you don't
would the
think
Big 12?
Big 12 has a network, though, don't
Yeah, they have one.
No, the Longhorn Network is the only TV deal that is in the Big 12 right now. The Big 12 doesn't have their own network.
I thought they started it.
They have a Big 12 network,
yeah.
but they don't have any rights to games. Is that what you're talking about?
Maybe that's it.
No, I mean like the Pac-12. There's a Pac-12 network. Nobody watches it, but there's a Pac-12 or a Pac-10 network, whatever. There's a Big 10 network. There's an ACC network. There's an SEC network. There's not a Big 12 network where you go, hey, your game this week is on the Big 12 network.
Darn, that's crazy. I thought it was. That's wild.
You know what? Regardless, I don't let them go unless they pay all of that money that is in that contract. Why would you? Because what do you gain from it? Cincinnati?
Yeah.
I mean, I love Cincinnati. They're playing phenomenal football right now, but no way.
Yeah.
I'm like, if I'm the Big 12, I'm like, write me that check.
I think
we'll talk.
I think that's what it is. I think it's football that they don't have the football. I think they got basketball though.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, they have TV deals, but they don't have their own specific network that you go, hey, this game's on the Big 12 network. Let's turn over there.
Gotcha. Well, hey. Well, they got to fix it. And guess what? We'll fix it too by fixing us with Greg Cosell.
Greg Cosell. We'll talk about some of those players, some of the players we have lost, what they brought to the game over the years, and start kind of looking at the AFC South, the rest of it, right?
Yes. We need to tap in.
All right, that's coming up next right here on 3HL 104.5 The Zone. We are live from Scoreboard Bar Grill. Come and see us over by Opry Mills.
I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. Banks are great for car loans, but when you need a home loan, you need an expert. We'll get you pre-approved the day you call in, lower rates, and with our 21-day closing guarantee, you'll be in your dream home in weeks.
Come back into 3HL. Did they go with the B?
No.
Oh, that was like
terrible.
It was like a haunted house or something.
That was not good. By the way, we were having the conversation about Arch Manning, which Bama J, Jared on Twitter said Ty Simpson over Arch Manning. I'm like, oh yeah, there we go.
Okay, here it is.
Hey, I will say, I called that kid's state championship game. Pretty freaking impressive.
No, he can play. He can sling it. Yeah. I was a spotter at that game, y'all.
Yes, you were. You
my first spotting job.
Well, our next guest, Greg Cosell. Don't worry, Greg. We're not going to ask you to break down high school players' tape just yet.
Oh, yes, we are. Greg don't get off the hook that easy. Tell us about the Arch Manning, Greg.
My question is, does Arch Manning have another year of high school?
Yeah, he's 20. He's 2023.
Yep.
Okay, so because obviously they've got Quinn Ewers, who's going to be.
Yep.
It's going to be interesting to see because, with how easy it is to transfer, everybody transfers the second they don't play. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, so that would mean that it would be a junior when Arch is a freshman. I think that's how the class is, right?
So Ewers is going to be a freshman this year.
Oh.
Oh,
or is he
okay.
Or wait, I'm not sure. Somebody would know the answer to that. I know Ewers, I thought. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this would be Ewers' second season, but I don't know. Because I know he initially went to Ohio State, and then he transferred to Texas.
But he has the potential NFL prospect, right?
Well, Ewers was supposed to be the number one high school quarterback in the country coming out of high school. So, I assume that people view him as a big-time NFL prospect at some point.
You don't ever get into like that young, do you? Do you watch? Do you watch freshman college at all?
No.
Yeah.
I'm blown away by how people, and I say this totally honestly, I don't feel like I could have any sense at all of how to evaluate a 16-year-old, as far as, let's say, an NFL career.
Right.
That to me, the people who do that, I give them all the credit in the world. I would feel totally lost doing that.
And their entire career is basically lays on how well they can do that.
You're right.
When
You're
they're
right
16, I don't know how they do that.
Yeah.
You're right too, Greg. I remember that he was because there was a lot of hoopla around him transferring with that NIL deal he had. So yep.
Right.
You're right.
Because obviously, when C.J. Stroud clearly became the guy at Ohio State, Ewers wanted to play, so he left. So I'm not sure whether he's technically.
Did he get that year back or
first year? In other words, does he have to have 3 years before he comes out to the draft, or just 2 years?
Right, since that year counted. Yeah. Spot on.
Well, I'm sure we'll hit you up on him in a couple of years. Cosell, Greg Cosell, executive producer, analyst of NFL Matchup, and NFL Film senior producer for 42 years. He is is it 42, 43? Somewhere around there.
43 this year.
Yeah.
Who's counting, Greg?
There we go.
I know.
That's credibility right there. Joining us now, Cosell. This is kind of, I think, a fun time where we get to talk to you just because we're not breaking down games. We're not breaking down, first quarter. What did you see here on the film? We kind of have a little bit of freedom. And unfortunately, a lot of the news lately has been the loss of some great NFL talents, which is just, I know it's heartbreaking, but Tony Siragusa, obviously one of them. And so we were just talking about it and we were curious your kind of fondest memory of him and what he put on tape.
Yeah, I met him a few times. I certainly wouldn't say I knew him. I think I probably met him at some golf outings. He was obviously just a very fun guy, probably the kind of guy that everybody loved. He seemed to be that kind of personality. He was, in some ways his personality helped him become really a well-known name because the position he played in the context of a defense, a really good defense, obviously, was, sort of that kind of unheralded position, that almost overlooked position because he was not a sack guy. He was that inside grinder that just controlled the middle of the field. And obviously he did that exceptionally well. But I think he was just a larger than life personality and obviously did some announcing afterwards. I got to tell you guys, when I saw that, was it yesterday that you saw it or the day before? I lose track.
Yesterday.
But I was really that really kind of shocked me. I remember being a kid, okay, and Saragusa kind of hit me the same way. This goes back a long, long time. But I remember when my dad woke me up when I was a kid and told me that Roberto Clemente had died.
Oh, yeah.
And because I was a huge baseball fan growing up. That was kind of my sport, as a player, and just, loved baseball. And Saragusa kind of hit me the same way, especially when I saw that he was 55 years old. I was really kind of depressed about that.
Yeah, no doubt. And I actually heard it, Blaine and Mickey. I think Blaine broke it in Nashville because he had heard from Neil O'Donnell that it happened. Yep. So, but I mean, obviously his size is something that stuck out about him as a player. What else as a player, though?
Well, just his ability to control the middle of a defense. I mean, that's what he was really asked to do. That's what Saragusa was all about. I mean, look, obviously he played on those great Ravens defenses. A lot of people probably forget he played with the Colts prior to that. Yeah. Look, he played in the league, I believe, 12 years, something along those lines. Don't forget, he was an undrafted free agent.
Wow.
It's hard to look back on that and remember that he was an undrafted player. And when you think about what he accomplished, given his size, see, he was not super big. Everybody thinks, oh man, don't forget when he came out of college, he was only 285 pounds. What? He became a much bigger man in the NFL to fill that role. But, he only came out of college at 285 pounds. Maybe that's one reason why he was not drafted. But, he got bigger and bigger. And obviously that Ravens defense of 2000, which, considered by many to be among the 2 or 3 best of all time, he certainly was a major force there.
Man, you just hit us with so many gems right there. I didn't know he was undrafted. And I didn't know he walked in at 285.
University of Pittsburgh. Yep.
Wow, that's crazy. All right, man. So a lot of guys we lost, man, but let's shift and go back to these quarterbacks, man. So Lamar Jackson, a guy representing himself, holding out, that's all well and fine, and we let the teams deal with that. But what does he bring to the game when you're talking about Baltimore, Greg, that is different, where you can't let him go and he's got all the leverage.
Let me preface this question to you, Cosell, with Ron Slay said yesterday he would break the bank to make sure that Lamar stayed if he were the Ravens. Yep. I disagree. So go ahead and break it down for us.
Yeah, look, I think what we've seen with quarterbacks for the most part is the numbers just keep going up and up. Now, obviously, the Deshaun Watson fully guaranteed contract changed the world, and we'll see what happens. That's not my area of expertise. But I can't imagine they're going to let him walk, first of all. So whatever that ends up meaning, that will get settled over time. Jackson's a fascinating guy because, when he first came into the league, and Greg Roman, who's still the OC, they basically built their offense around Jackson as a runner, not as a passer. And they were the only team in the NFL to do that. Now, Jackson is not a bad passer by any stretch of the imagination. He's a fascinating guy to watch throw a football because he's very different. He's not a footwork balanced thrower with a firm base. His feet are almost always moving and unsettled, but his torso and his core is so strong that he can make throws without stepping into them. When you watch him play and see him throw a football, he's different in that regard, the way he throws a ball. So he can make really good throws without balanced footwork. And you rarely see that with quarterbacks. Most quarterback coaches would tell you that throwing a football starts from the waist down and that your feet really have to be settled. They have to be firm. That has to be your foundation. He's able to make throws without that because he has a really strong torso and core. So he's kind of a different thrower, but it's effective for him. That's the way I'm sure he's probably always throwing the ball.
That's big time.
Anyone like him? Similar?
Yeah.
Kind of similar on tape?
Not that I can really think of, to be honest with you. I mean, what I try to do in the summer is I try to watch different guys situationally. So I've been watching Lamar. I've watched other quarterbacks. I'm watching college guys. I try to do as much as I can realistically, just because I have some time and I try to get through guys. But I really can't think of someone exactly like that. I think Mac Jones is a little bit like that. Obviously, he's not as athletic. I mean, Jackson's a freak athlete. We all know that.
I would have never guessed you saying that.
Never would.
I think Mac Jones is a little bit like that in the way he throws the ball, in the fact that he doesn't really have to stride into it. And if you don't stride, then you really need your hips and your core to be strong, because power has to come from somewhere, I mean, because you're obviously throwing a football, and we're not talking about throwing it 3 yards. So power has to come from somewhere.
All right, some other news. Now, who knows if it'll stick or not, but apparently Gronk is retiring again. But just with him and his game, would you say that he kind of revolutionized that position? And what do you think it was that made him so great?
I wouldn't say he revolutionized the position. I think you'd almost have to go back to Kellen Winslow to say Kellen Winslow Sr., that is, someone who revolutionized the position in the way in which he was deployed by a really smart San Diego Charger coaching staff back in the late 70s, early 80s. So Gronk's just, he's a continuation of how tight ends have been used essentially since the Chargers did that with Winslow. He's just an extremely large man. People might lose sight of how big he is. He was probably 265, 270. He was a terrific blocker. He was incredibly strong. I mean, I'm sure we all have images and memories of seeing him just carry people. And obviously he could run well enough because he could run down the seam. But he was just a physical specimen. You could use him split out the formation. I mean, how many times did we see him as the single receiver to the short side of the field, catching balls in the red zone, those fade balls, those one-on-one balls, even beyond the red zone a bit. I remember in the Super Bowl when I guess it was the Butler Super Bowl with the interception, but he caught a touchdown where he was split out against KJ Wright. Maybe it was about 25 yards, so there's so many memories with Gronk, but I wouldn't say, Dawn, that he revolutionized the position. He was great at what the position has developed into, and you could argue he's as good as they come, but I don't think he changed the way we see tight ends.
Think he'll be back?
Yeah.
That is beyond mine's way better than mine. I have no idea. I mean,
how did he look on film the last couple of years?
So you know how that is. These guys go over to the training camp, man.
Yeah.
Hey,
I can't blame him. It's 101 degrees here, Cosell.
I know, and I'm sure in Tampa, if he were to go back there, let's say, it's not going to be 30 and snowing. So
right.
Probably it's probably going to be about 100 there too.
Let's hop around the AFC South, Greg. Let's start with the Texans. Davis Mills. Yeah. What do we expect him to start? Like, what do we see from the film leaving off from Houston last season, and they're looking like they got to put their rocks in this barrel and roll with it?
It's like there's no way I'm going to speak about what a team's record will be. I mean, we
right.
know that now, and that's just happy talk BS. That.
Yeah.
But I actually think the Texans are going to be a better football team. Mm-hmm. First of all, I thought Davis Mills really improved as the year went on, and I think he can be a solid NFL quarterback. And I think they made some meaningful draft picks, and I think they have some good players now. Again, like I said, I'm not going to speak about a record, but I think Kenyon Green, who they drafted this round, will start and improve their O-line. I love John Mechie. We know they drafted Stingley. They're going to play more man coverage, which they actually did last year going down the stretch. So I just think they have a better roster. And I think, it always depends on the quarterback. And I just think Davis Mills has a chance to be a pretty good player. And I think their overall talent is a little bit better than people might think. So we'll see. But I think they're a better football team.
What is it? What's the strengths and weaknesses you saw from Mills? I know he started 11 games last year. Where did you see the improvement?
Yeah, I think Mills, at his core, he's a pocket quarterback. He's a very good thrower with the football. He's tall in the pocket. I think he knows what he sees. He's got enough movement that he's not a statue. He lost the knee brace that he wore his last year at Stanford, and people were concerned about that, and he didn't play with that a year ago. You guys probably remember the last game against Tennessee. He was very good.
Yeah.
I mean, he's an efficient player who can make all the throws, and I think he's aggressive without being reckless. So I'm looking for him to be a better player this year. And I think, believe it or not, Brandon Cooks, he has 6 1,000-yard seasons in his 8 years in the league, and I bet not a lot of people know that.
Quietly.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, we ran out of time today, Cosell, but we will we'll pick up with the rest of the AFC South coming up in our visit next week. How's that?
All right, guys, I appreciate it. Thanks so much.
All right. Thanks, Cosell. There you go, Greg Cosell, executive producer, analyst, NFL Matchup, and, of course, senior producer for NFL Films. You can check him out on Twitter at Greg Cosell. He's the best. I love it.
Yeah,
if you don't ask a strictly film question, he's like, well, I'm not getting into that.
You better get specific with Greg. And there ain't no gray area with him.
He's the best. All right, 3HL. We will continue today's talk here on Thursday, live from Scoreboard Bar and Grill. Come and see us, hang out for a little bit. Our final segment, the 4 o'clock hour, is coming up after this break. Stick around.
With a lot of different kinds of players over the last couple of years, Matt Ryan coming into quarterback them at this stage of his career in probably unquestionably a better situation than Atlanta has had. But what do we kind of make of the veteran quarterback at this phase?
Well, Matt Ryan is just one of those guys that's a veteran, and he knows how to play. He's really good before the snap of the ball. He understands everything he sees because he's seen it all. Yeah. He's a certain kind of quarterback, but he's very good at what he is. He's always been a bit of a strider. He needs to be protected. Striders need the interior of the offensive line to be strong because the interior of the offensive line controls the depth of the pocket, and he needs that room to stride. And I think, in the interior of their O-line, they've certainly got Quentin Nelson, a really good player at left guard. Center Ryan Kelly, a solid pro. Right guard might be seen as a question mark as we sit here today. Yeah. But overall, that's solid. The left tackle position is a bit of a question right now. And, of course, we're speaking in later June, so we have an entire training camp to get through. But Matt Ryan needs to be protected. But one thing that he's very proficient at, he had his best year of his career under Kyle Shanahan. He's very, very proficient with the play action pass game. And obviously their offense begins with the run game. So that there will be multiple play action concepts with Matt Ryan under center.
the second half of the season as the world's best drivers push it to the limit for spots in the playoffs. Don't miss the thrills, the drama, and the acceleration. You hear that little motor? The motor going to be a lot louder out there. All on NBC and Peacock at 4 p.m. So stay tuned and tap in, man. Now,
I want to see you try and fit in a NASCAR car, Slay.
No, and then guess what? They got one sitting out there.
I know. They got a truck.
They got a truck. Yeah, I don't think I can get in the truck.
Come see us out here at Scoreboard Bar and
That's
Grill.
right.
You can check out the truck.
That's right. Maybe you can
Check out the Traeger grills.
I'm 6'8", man. I can't get in there. You think I can get in that chat?
You ain't getting out if you do. You look like Bo and Luke Duke getting in there.
Yeah, see? Exactly.
You don't want to drive that fast anyway. You drive slow in the passing lane.
I did for my birthday, though, last year.
Oh, that's right.
Went to Vegas.
Well, our next guest here on 3HL and 104.5 The Zone, Chad Belding, outdoorsman, host of The Foul Life, now in your 13th season on the Outdoor Channel. Chad, good to see you.
Thank you so much for having me, Don. Good to see you.
What have you been doing? Grilling out there?
Yeah, we got lucky enough to get teamed up with Rackley War, the race team that has Tate Fogelman in the truck that you see out here. This is actually a show truck with no motor in it in case you want to get in there and try to drive it off. But yeah, he's going to be racing in tomorrow night's Camping World Truck Race. And, you know, just Barrett Hobbs, the owner of the Scoreboard in the Nashville Palace, and his general manager, Bobby Johnson, are dear friends of mine. And they invited us in here to do a little Traeger provider cook-off with American almond beef. And we're hoping everybody's happy with it.
I heard there's some real bowling. Where are our samples? I heard there's some
we had
there's some
steak
good
tips. We are steak tips.
Yeah, let's get him some steak tips, medium rare.
Come on now. He's on it. He's on it.
Hey,
He's out
man,
there.
this look good right here, man.
Yeah. So, okay,
love
for
language to
those
me.
that don't know about you, kind of tell us about your show and what you do.
In 2008, we started a company called Banded, and it kind of evolved from just a production company into an apparel and merchandising company to where we have close to 3,500 products now for duck hunters, goose hunters, turkey hunters, deer hunters. And through that, we developed a national TV show that you mentioned on the Outdoor Channel.
There we
go. Benelli's The Foul Life is getting ready to air our 14th season. And it's diversified us into so many different walks of life to where now we're in the culinary game, and you see our provider cookbook here. And we just love the idea of becoming a backyard aficionado and taking pride in the meats and the game or the vegetables, whatever you decide to cook. And Traeger makes it easy on us. And, so it's a duck hunting company that turned into a beef company. And we got a provider rub company with a cookbook and a lot of other diversified businesses. So everything seems to be rolling.
Okay, but this cookbook, it's
serious.
I'm so out of my element right now.
It's all
I'll
right.
just go ahead and throw that
It's
out
all
there. But the cookbook, the provider cookbook, fish and game recipes for eating wild and living off the land. So all of our hunters out there right now are like loving this. But what is in this? Is it like shoot it, kill it, catch it, cook it?
Exactly.
There you go.
264 pages, 80 recipes from all of your seafoods to a few vegetables, but mainly anything from venison, deer, moose, antelope, elk, ducks, geese, wild turkey, all of your fishes of the sea and local freshwaters in the continental United States. And we truly believe in that lifestyle of what you just described, living off the land, knowing where your food comes from. And if you're going to take the responsibility of being a hunter, we want to, teach you unorthodox, out of the box ways to make sure that your company, your friends and family enjoy the bounty when it's time to serve it.
Love it.
That's serious because I'm in love with it. I saw some of the what was the meatballs I just saw. Hold on, let me go back. I don't know, was the big ox meatballs or something? It was boy. Because I'm a meatball guy, man. Put a little sauce on that thing.
Okay.
The meatballs are a ground dish that we do. And
Spice bison meatballs.
Yeah, you could do it with buffalo. You could do it with elk. I like the way he says meatball. Say that one more time.
Yeah, the meatball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Piece of meatball.
Okay, can I just say this? Slay says, "Oh, I'm a meatball guy." He's an any meat guy.
That's right. That's
Like
right,
any
bastard.
meat.
That's
They brought our steak tips for us to try,
I like his
and I'm like,
style.
great.
Hey,
Now I'm
man.
gonna lose Slay.
And smell though, like it was
smelled
kind of like the
good.
cartoon. Like I was looking at the book and then the smell hit me. And I was like, whoa, it tickled my nose.
So
Matter of
we
fact, I'm
done-
gonna go and get in there.
Yeah, try that. That's got our.
Anyway, I'm gonna
that's-
let y'all talk. Hey.
That's got our provider drop time rub on it. That it's just a dry rub. There's no marinade on there, no olive oil, no binder, nothing. That's just one dry rub. And it's no salt, so we add a tiny bit of seasoning salt after the fact. Cook it to about 130 degrees, medium rare. And is it dead on?
You just made it on the Traeger.
That's on the Traeger.
Slay's about to have to get him one.
Yeah, you gonna put me on the Traeger in a minute. If you can taste like this, Just all right.
It smells really good. Hey,
Tastes
so
good, too.
you actually, this sports talk show, you actually have a sports background. Didn't you play a little baseball maybe back in the day?
You would bring that up. I got to tell the story that everybody loves to hear locally is I did receive a Division I baseball scholarship, had several offers, but signed with the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. And it only took my freshman season and getting picked off at second base against San Jose State for my college coach. My good friend, he's 78 years old now, Fred Dallimore, looked me in the eyes in front of the team and called me the worst recruiting mistake that he ever made. So that's pretty much my glory days of college. I know, and I got to live with that. I got to live with it. And he's still my friend, if you'll believe it.
Hey, man, you should have told him, you know what? That's why I wanted to go out there and tailgate anyway.
Yeah.
Put some of this up, man.
I'm ready to leave the dugout and go grill.
Heck yeah.
All right, well, Chad, on the way out here, kind of tell everybody, come out here, obviously, see you guys, where they can find you, where they can see you, where they can catch this.
Well, yeah, like I said, Barrett Hobbs and Bobby Johnson in the Scoreboard in the Nashville Palace. Just look for the Dickies tent, the Traeger tent. We got Rackley War here. We got Tate Fogelman signing autographs. He's racing tomorrow night in the Camping World Truck Race. And we have a ton of unbelievable partners that we could not do this without. Camo Spaces here, Real Tree, Safari Club International, Dickies Workwear, like I said, and then all of Barrett's establishments here in Nashville. He's an unbelievable, just a human being that's invited us in, rolled out the red carpet, and come out and enjoy some American almond beef provider rubs and have a cocktail out here and enjoy the sunshine. I mean, it's so hot out there. You might want to come inside and eat though.
I'll take
come hang out with us in here.
I mean, this right here, like I'm a sauce guy. You know what I mean? Like I love meat, you know what I mean? I love grilling, but I'm going to make my own sauce. And you don't even need no sauce, man. It's like when you bite down, the juices just come up out of there. So I'm trying to figure out what you slow cook that.
You could.
So how the juices get in there is what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, that's all that. That's everybody wants to sear at the beginning, and that locks the flavor out. If you slow smoke at the beginning and let that dry rub permeate into that meat, you're going to get all that flavor. At the end, you take your meat off of the smoke and you put it on what we call a reverse sear, 450 to 500 degrees, and you hit it a minute and a half on each side, and then that crusts it and barks it, and it keeps all that flavor on the inside.
So instead of doing it first, you do it in reverse.
You do it in reverse.
Go get the Provider Cookbook, man. That's
providerlife.com.
Yeah.
Can we break now?
I'm just saying, man. The people needed to know what I was just tasting the flavor. Like, I ain't see no sauce on it. I'm trying to figure out where it came from.
I'm the true professional here. I'm waiting till the break to try it. So I'm like, let's go.
Let the man eat.
Yeah, thank you.
How much for one rib? How much for one rib?
We always say one rib. Just one rib.
There you go. That's Chad Belding. Check him out. The outdoorsman, the host of The Foul Life. It is 13th season on Outdoor Channel. Chad, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank y'all for having me.
Have a fun weekend here in Nashville. 3HL on 104.5 The Zone. We'll be back right after this.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly. Is it time for some updates around the house? Last year, our average client received over $52,000 with a simple cash-out refinance. Let's make those home remodeling projects a reality. Start now at thehomeloanexpert.com.
3HL 104.5 The Zone. What up, Nashville? Brent Doherty, Ron Slade. There he is in his Farber red shirt.
Hey, I'm in the building. I'm in the building. Hey, I'm in the building. 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 I'm in the building.
Slade's in this building. Don Davenport in the courthouse.
I wonder what's her hours. What's her courthouse hours?
I don't know. She can't offer too many details, obviously, but yeah, she had to be somewhere early this morning. She was not happy about it.
Yes, you're right. She sure wasn't.
Yeah, Jim Wyatt joins us now. His dad, a judge, very famous judge in this town. Jim Wyatt joins us now from TennesseeTitans.com. Jimmy, what's up?
Not too much. Hope you guys are doing well.
So because your dad being a judge, like, could you get out of jury duty or did that matter?
No, I've served on jury duty before, and it's actually other than having to get off of work, which is, some people look forward to that. Other people hate to do it, but it's actually, if you get a good trial, it's very interesting. And
I think the same thing.
Yeah, when I was on jury duty in the past, it's neat to just kind of see the process, to work with your, fellow, Nashvillians and people in your community to try to help make some tough decisions, and kind of seeing, seeing a different side of what people go through. I think it's something that everybody ought to do. I mean, I think in the past, the minute you get the jury notice, you're trying to figure out ways to get out of it. And I have talked to so many people that have done it. Said, man, that was really a cool experience. So I hope Dawn enjoys it.
I think she will. So obviously everybody's talking about Traylon Burks and Rob Moore mentioning today that he has asthma. Do you remember, like, we've run the list of the Emmitt Smiths of the world and all these players that have had asthma. When I heard that news, I didn't think it was any kind of big deal, honestly, but maybe it is. I don't know. But do you remember any Titans dealing with that in the past?
Yeah, Andre Dyson way back in the day. I mean, I
yeah.
don't remember him dealt with it, but there are probably some other guys who have dealt with it because people manage it. Most people know how to manage it and they manage it well. That sometimes maybe guys have had it and we're not even aware. But I do remember Andre having it and dealing with it, and it's something that Traylon Burks has dealt with and has found a way to be successful with it. And I don't think certainly this is something that just has cropped up on him. I think this is something he's dealt with for a while, and I think we've all seen the success he's had on the football field dealing with that. So I think eventually. I think with him, I think he's dealt obviously with that. Maybe he's dealing with some other, conditioning things, and just a combination of the two is what has kind of kept him sidelined and from being what he wants to be to this point. But I think in time when camp starts, I think he'll be good, and everybody will figure it out.
On the field, what have you noticed about him?
Well, I haven't seen, just to be completely honest, I mean, he hasn't been involved in a lot of full speed team drills. I mean, I will say that before this week, at the end of last week, I thought he'd made great strides. I thought you could tell that he was getting his wind back and was in better condition and, looked sure-handed. I saw improvement on the field, but just like Robert Woods, who's working his way back from the knee. I mean, I think he's been somewhat limited. I think Traylon is such a big physical receiver. I think we'll notice him more when the pads come on, when he's fighting through contact to make catches and he's breaking tackles in preseason games. I think that's when you'll see maybe what he's all about and see why the team drafted him. Up until this point, it's been kind of a ramp-up period, just trying to get him ready. And fortunately, he wasn't out there today, but we'll see what happens before minicamp starts. See if he'll do minicamp next week. I mean, he's so compared to A.J. Brown, unfortunately, and here I am going to compare him to A.J. Brown again. But if we remember, A.J. Brown during his rookie season, after he was drafted, he dealt with a hamstring injury that sidelined him for a good stretch and caused him to miss a lot of time in training camp. But people, forget about all that now. But I think in time, hopefully, the same thing happens with Traylon. All this is just kind of going to be, a blip on his big picture story.
then.
Thursday. Let's go.
That's right.
He's Ron Slay.
What's happening, people?
And from Nashville, Tennessee, at 6'8" at power forward, Ron Slay.
Y'all better buckle up, because this car ain't got no roof.
Let's go, baby.
Perfect intro for tonight. It's the NBA draft. I'm Don Davenport.
Indeed.
That's Joe Hunk back at the studio behind the glass.
Don, you can't just do that. That's Don Davenport.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
If you listened in the 3 o'clock hour, Joe Hunk's only task is to get Joan Jett on our show.
Yes. You have
Let's see.
accepted the job. Let's get it,
How
Hunk.
do you accept the challenge?
Kind of like the boom boom
Accept
room.
the challenge. I'm going to accept the challenge. Hey, Joan, if you're listening, we'd love to have you on.
Joan is in town next Thursday.
So Joan, I know
Next
you're listening on
Wednesday?
the 104.5 The Zone app. So
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Just
Right.
just come on by. Yeah.
Yep. Come on.
Good job,
Come in
Hunk.
studio. Hang out
just
with us
come in
for a little
studio.
bit.
Let's just hang out.
Make it get it done.
Tell me why you hate yourself for loving you. I want to know.
Legend, man. So the news of the day, Arch Manning has announced that he will commit to the
Mhm.
University of Texas, at least for now.
Right.
We'll see. So many things can change. So many shifts can happen.
Very true. But with him, I think this is a great situation for him too. You know what I mean? Before we move on from that, you got Ole Miss, you got Eli and Archie, the granddad.
Yes.
And then the Peyton, you got UT, man. Why not go to a place to get your own legacy and keep it rolling? Like you're gonna be in great hands regardless where you go. The question is, who do they put around them?
Right.
That's the question.
So his tight end, Will Randall, his 3-star tight end from high school, his high school teammate, already committed to Texas
Oh, really?
earlier this week. So he's following him there. But I know there's a 5-star wide receiver that has Texas on this list. I'm sure that changes, his perception when you see a quarterback in your class of that caliber and know that guy might be delivering you balls. So we'll see, though. He's the number 1 recruit in the 2023 class. So
Coming to the SEC, boy, it's really gonna get nasty in recruiting now. Fan base is gonna be rowdy, baby.
Yes.
The real UT in Knoxville.
Here we go. Here we go. So I wanted to talk about the NBA draft, by the way. I was just looking at our live feed. You see people coming in and out of the office behind us. Come see us at Scoreboard, by the way. We're going to be here for over another hour. There's a ton to do outside. There's steak tips. There's Traeger Grill out there.
Very good. Are we giving the Traeger Grill away? Or are they giving the Traeger Grill away?
No, they are,
Oh,
but
okay.
you can sign up for that giveaway.
Thought it was us, Christian.
No,
Call Christian, 615-733.
Christian's like, whoa. Don't
not
get
us.
us in trouble. Hold that down. Yeah. Hang on.
Call Hunk, y'all.
Yes. So anyway, I wanted to talk about the NBA draft, though. You heard Hunk kind of give you some of the other news of the day and the headlines and what's going on in Omaha, which I feel like a lot of people, at least Tennessee fans, quit watching
Yeah,
Omaha.
I did. I raised my hand when you said that. I did.
You did. I know you did. When
guilty.
Tennessee didn't make it, a lot of people stopped watching. When I was in Knoxville
Yep.
on Tuesday night,
Right.
it was amazing. Like the heartbreak is so real and it's still there.
Yeah.
So they had about 150 or something RSVPs. And then Tennessee baseball lost and it jumped up to 450.
Got 300 extras. Anybody want to go? Yeah.
Yep.
It's
So-
real, man.
That just shows you. I feel like that's like a good monitor of the heartbreak in Knoxville. So they had to find another positive ball event to attend. But anyway, so I was thinking about the draft tonight, which I'm not going to lie, I don't pay a whole lot of attention to the NBA draft. You got a guy that puts a hat on for one team, and then all of a sudden, he's playing for another team 5 minutes later, and it's just it's hard for me to keep up with it and whatever. So I'm not a huge draft person, but I love the draft stories, and I love the setup, and I love knowing about the players and watching them in college, and just seeing where they end up or whatever. But before we talk about your draft story, Slay, Hunk sent us a random stat.
Okay.
Only 13 schools have had a number 1 pick in both the NFL and NBA drafts. Auburn will be the 14th if Jabari would go number 1.
That's okay. That very well can happen. I want to know who are the other 13. That's very.
3 of them are SEC schools. I don't have the whole list, but 3 of them are SEC schools. Oklahoma.
Oh, I got you.
You got the whole list. Oklahoma's the other. Can we count them as an SEC school already?
Peyton went one right. Hey, we in the building.
4. I say 4.
4?
Oklahoma's SEC now.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. You can count. Oh, we counting it.
4 of them SEC. All right, hit it. Only 13 schools. Hit it, Hunk.
So you got Oklahoma. You have LSU. Those are the 2. Slay, you know who was drafted by LSU?
Shaq and Russell.
No.
Jamarcus Russell and Joe Burrow.
Yes. Oh.
And who?
And Joe Burrow.
What year was that? 52?
No, I'm talking about in football. Joe Burrow was drafted.
Oh, Joe Burrow. Oh, I thought you said Andrew Bro. I'm like, who's Andrew Bro?
Did you just wipe January out of your mind?
No, dude. I thought you said Andrew Bro. I was like, who is Andrew Bro?
Oh, no, and Joe Burrow. So
Shaq.
And Joe Burrow. Okay, yeah.
Joe Burrow.
See, but I got those other 2 right. I just didn't
You
say
got
Joe
Russell,
Burrow.
yeah.
Okay.
All right,
I was about to say purple train.
What's your favorite school, Slay?
Tennessee.
Okay, the one that I'm saying that in a sarcastic way.
Tennessee.
Kentucky. Kentucky. Tim Couch was drafted in the NFL.
And Anthony Davis.
NBA guys,
Yep.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so then you.
I forgot Tim Couch. Huh?
Wow, we need to get him on. We need to hear his story.
You have
Go Browns.
Michigan, Ohio State, and NC State. They've all had number 1 overall picks in both.
Michigan, who was it? Charles Woodson won one, was it?
No. So now for the NFL, it was Jake Long.
Yeah. I forgot about that. Yep.
And Tom Herman.
Yep.
Or Harmon.
Basketball.
NBA, and in the NBA, it was Chris Webber.
Chris Webber. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right, for Ohio State, can you guess the NBA one?
Greg Oden.
That's correct on the Greg Oden one. Now for the NFL, you have Orlando Pace.
Right.
You have
plenty.
There's plenty of that. So NC State.
Oh, NC State.
I was trying to think of the NBA NC State.
The guard.
He was a forward/guard. Yes.
Oh.
When you say this name, we're going to be like
5.
Golly, come on, Slay. Turn it. Give me his initials, huh?
DT.
Oh, that didn't help.
David Thompson.
Oh, come on, Slay. You got to be better than that. Oh, everybody know David Thompson. Oh, I'm hot at myself, man. Go ahead, man. Who's the football?
The football is Mario Williams.
Super Mario.
2000.
I can't believe me. Oh, come on, dude. David Thompson,
I can't believe me.
Go ahead.
Can't believe me.
Next one.
All right, let's try this one. The Utah Utes.
Ooh.
Van Horn?
No.
Dang, Utah Utes basketball.
You have Bill McGill.
Oh, yeah, I would never
from
got that right.
1962.
Yeah, okay.
That doesn't count.
And then 2005. You should know that one, Slay.
2005.
Yes.
Utah?
Yes.
Big man.
Andrew.
Oh, Bogut, yeah.
Yep, that's it.
I forgot he was there for a cup of tea, like Will Bowling said, a cup of tea.
And the NFL one was Alex Smith in 2005 as well.
Mm-hmm.
So they had the number 1 overall pick.
Man, the same year? Now that's dope.
Utah.
Man, Rick Majerus, baby.
All right.
Okay.
Syracuse Orange has had one player drafted number 1 overall in
DC.
That's right. Derek Coleman drafted number 1 in 1990. In the NFL, it was Ernie Davis.
Oh, yeah. Ernie, yep. Jim.
UCLA.
Was Jim Brown number 1?
No.
Dang, that's real. Okay, go ahead.
UCLA. This one's a layup.
Luau. Walton.
Oh, actually, yes. Luau is one of them.
Bill Walton.
And Bill Walton's the other. Those are the 2, yes.
Yep.
And then the NFL was Troy Aikman.
It would have took me a second on that too, and I knew that. Okay.
Virginia Cavaliers.
Virginia Cavaliers. Ralph Sampson.
Ralph Sampson is your NBA. For your NFL, it's Bill Dudley in 1942.
God, I would have never got that.
I wouldn't have got that one.
Bill Dudley. What was he, quarterback?
He was a running back.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Michigan State.
Oh, Michigan State. Magic.
That's exactly right. Now, okay, I'm only going to ask you this, Slade, just because I haven't asked you any of the other NFL ones.
Okay.
Can you guess the NFL one for Michigan State?
Can you tell me the position?
Defensive end.
Oh, defensive
I could give you another hint, but it would 100% give it away.
Michigan State defensive end. Golly. What's his name? What's his initial?
No, what's the hint?
What's the hint?
The other hint?
Yeah.
He was in Police Academy.
Oh, the big tall, too tall,
Bubba Smith.
Yeah, yeah. What was his name in the movie though?
Hightower.
Hightower. Yeah, that's my man. Big Hightower. Man, he was the number 1 pick.
Number 1 overall pick from Michigan State back in 1967.
How many years did he play, Hunk? 2?
It was not very long because he went directly into the NFL. In fact, his career was 111 games. So he played from 1967 to 1976.
That's wild. Hey, he was tall. What was he, Hunk? About 6'9"?
He was 6'7", 265 pounds.
He looked like 7'3".
Yeah.
On the movies, man. All right.
All right.
That's good trivia, huh?
Well, then the other 2 is Indiana and Notre Dame. So those are the
Indiana, Isaiah Thomas. No.
No.
The not Sydney.
There's
Indiana.
2. It's Kent Benson and Walt Bellamy.
Walt Bellamy, yeah, from New York Knicks. Yep, I would have never got that one.
And then for Notre Dame, you had Austin Carr, and then you have a ton of NFL players.
Man, that's crazy. I wouldn't. Yeah, I'm glad you didn't ask me them. I know who those players are. I would have got it wrong though. Man, that's good trivia right there. We got to do that.
Yeah. So there you go. There's your summer NBA draft. Yeah. No, but that's a good one. So we'll go 4 SEC schools in that list of 13. It just means more.
It does mean more.
There you go. We'll talk about the draft coming up after this break. Also going to get Ron Slay. First time he's sat and told this story. We'll get Ron Slay's draft details in the story of his draft day from back in the day. That's coming up next. Oh, and by the way, you might want to stick around in our 5:45 hour. We have identified white F-250 guy.
Oh, have we?
We have.
Yes.
You, Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
Stick around.
I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. Banks are great for car loans, but when you need a home loan, you need an expert. We'll get you pre-approved the day you call in, lower rates, and with our 21-day closing guarantee, you'll be in your dream home in weeks.
The most important part of Pat was she wanted everyone that played for her to be the best they could be, and she was going to drag it out of you.
Exactly. And, the thing also looking back at just the recruiting process, she never promised me that I would play. She never promised me that I'd be a starter. She never promised me that I'd play X amount of minutes. What she told me was, if you work hard, you will play. If you learn the Lady Vol system and learn my way, you will have the opportunity to play, and I will push you beyond measure. And I think hearing that, it sounds great. Actually living it and being a part of it is totally different. It's like, man, what you said, you really expect me to do. And as a freshman coming in, it was really, really hard at first, just trying to learn that system. But then, throughout the 4 years, and I'm so blessed. We are so blessed because literally our team, I have front row seats to the best coach in the world ever. I have front row seat to how to be humble, how to carry yourself with grace, with poise, how to handle all the mess that was thrown at her through so many different arenas of her life, of how she was able to handle herself. We all have front row seats to that. So now, when I go through things and when I go through issues, I really do think about what would Pat do? How would Pat handle this? And it's crazy that even this far removed from being at University of Tennessee and with Pat not being here, I always say this. I'm like, Pat, while she's not physically here in the physical realm, she lives within each one of us as Lady Balls and every single person that ever had any interaction with her.
Catch y'all. I want everybody.
I just got chills.
Yeah, wait a minute. Slay.
I just got chills.
Wow.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
It's tough to encapsulate Pat, but man.
Yeah.
That was pretty darn good.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Kaz, let me ask you this. I can't wait to watch the film. I should have drove up there, so I should have seen it early.
I tried
But
to get you up
you
there
did,
with me.
You did. They wouldn't let me off. But Catch, you got that championship, and this is what I want to know. That's that season, man. But to chase it year after year, what was that like getting a new crop? You came in as a freshman knowing how serious it was when you got there and how, a little bit of nervousness was there. But did that nervousness leave as you going into your senior year and seeing this new crop of young ladies come in and be Lady Vols? How was that? Try to pass it down from your freshman year to now you going into a senior year and passing it down to this new crop coming along.
Yeah, not really nervousness. I wouldn't call it nervousness. I would call it, one of the things coming in, and I would just say, like, coming in as a freshman with KJ and Shmeekwa and, Lori Milligan and Brene Laskin, those were actually our seniors. But coming in, and they set the tone for us. And so I think the biggest thing is you, go from freshman to sophomore, junior, senior, you're always trying to set the tone for the underclassmen.
Mm-hmm.
This is how we do things. This is how we handle ourselves. Like you try to do it like the lady. I mean, we say it, the Lady Vol way.
Right.
There's other ways, and then there's the Lady Vol's way. And even if you want to get even like in a smaller circle, there's a Pat Summit way, and this is how we do it. This is how we carry ourselves. And I think I know there's some people that I think what Pat had to learn how to do was allow some people a little bit more space because we all were so different in our own. Where we come from and just team sports in general, people from all different realms of life get thrown into this little bucket and we have to figure out how to work together. And I think Pat had a really good way of allowing us the space to be ourselves, but then also like challenging us to fit into the puzzle piece, like to be one of those puzzle pieces so that we could, at the end of the day, win a championship and at the end of the day have the success. Not only as a basketball player, but even more so like as people when we leave the college game.
Mm-hmm.
I love that you said that, and I'm not going to spoil a bunch of stuff in the documentary, but along those lines, watching it was so cool because the filmmakers brought you and three of your other teammates from that team together and basically sat you in the old locker room and just let you guys chat. And my takeaway from it, from just listening to you guys talk and reminisce on that season, was the closeness, the win together at all costs, the chemistry of that team that you could even feel now, like 20 years later when you guys were talking. And that was amazing to me. And you had said in one of those interviews, like you wanted to win that national title for Pat and for your teammates. And then for yourself. But like it was, just the closeness and the chemistry and the win for each other part of that team. Like how that was your freshman year. So obviously you were young, but how special when you look back at it was that?
Well, it's all about family.
Yeah.
It's super special that you can, and it's funny just thinking about me being there last night and talking to KJ, and it's like I call it KJ, and some people that weren't around are like, okay, who is KJ? I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, she's met like Kelly Harper, like that's what everybody knows.
That's
but,
Coach. Yeah,
yeah, it's I mean, like come on, but it's so cool that we can all go and live our own lives. But then when we come together, and I talk to Samika and Ace quite a bit. I don't get to see them, but I talk to them. And then KJ, obviously, I get a chance to see because I'm commentating. So here and there, I get to see her, and Kyra and Naya, and some of the other players. I get to see here and there, but it's always cool. Like no matter what, when I go to Kentucky and I have to do the games, and I sit there with Kyra and Naya before, it feels like we are just back in college, hanging out. They're joning on me, I'm joning on them. Like something happens, talking about outfits, talking about. We're just talking about basketball, and it is great because that is what is important. The family and us being together, that was important then, and being able to win for each other. And Pat was like, don't worry about individual accolades. Let's worry about the team accolades. All of the other stuff will come, but Here we worry and we focus on each other and we focus on, I need to make the next person.
Piling in here,
Yes,
a lot
we do.
going on, getting ready for the race weekend here in Nashville. This is a good place to do it.
It's gonna be a good one and it's gonna be a hot one. So get in there and hydrate.
You got a truck out there. You can check it out, see
Yeah.
what it looks like on the inside, what these guys race in.
Right. Oh, that's gotta be hot.
Guys and girls, I guess I should
Yeah.
say.
I wonder, how do you stay cool in it though? The little fans in your helmet.
Not really.
Drink water.
There are fans. There are fans in the car.
What about when you guys use the bathroom?
but,
If you
but
drink all
it's
that water?
not. I mean, it's hot as blazes in those cars.
Yeah.
So they have their little like tubes, so they drink. They have to stay hydrated. Like night before. I mean,
All water.
all these people that are like, "Oh, race car drivers aren't athletes."
No, it's serious.
I mean, I'm telling you, it's
I
crazy.
Majority
Even the
of the time, you won't go to the bathroom during the race because you sweat it all out.
because you're so dehydrated. Yeah, because you just sit there and sweat. And
Crazy.
I mean, just the pull on your body.
Yep.
Like, people don't realize it.
Yeah.
You know, because you drove
Yep.
that track, and you're not even driving as fast
Nope.
as they are.
Yep.
You know, the short tracks are a little different, but the short tracks, like you're so tight
Yeah.
that I mean, just the mental focus
It's different.
it makes it at those speeds. It's insane.
It's crazy. Yep.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, it's absolutely right.
Anyway, so come on out. You can register outside to win a Traeger grill. They've got steak tips that are phenomenal.
Yeah.
And all that. So we have the NFL draft tonight.
NBA.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's all right.
Sorry, I was looking. Well, I'm sorry, Hunk. You send me all these texts like last minute, like, hey, don't forget to read this. Don't forget to read. You know what? We're not reading anything. We're going to talk about the NBA draft. See, this is what happens when Mayor's not here and I have to deal with all this crap and it's all coming in my phone last minute. And it's in my email that I can't even get into because you have to have 10 passwords because, you know, it's so secure. No, I'm done. I'm not reading any more of your crap. I'm going to Ron Slay because
Hey.
I want to hear his NBA draft. How do you feel about that, Hunk?
I mean, I'm happier with him than the guy in the F-250 was yesterday.
By the way, I'm going to tell you, we heard from him. That's coming up at 5:45. We'll wrap up the show with that. Maybe he'll be in his truck.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm dying. So NBA draft.
yes.
All right, you coming out of Tennessee.
Right.
You expected to hear your name called at some point.
Yes, I did. And the reason being, all you have to go on, I think, coming out is the resume that you create, you know, and
SEC Player of the Year.
You know,
I mean,
All-American.
that'll do it. Yeah.
Even though it's third team All-American, you're still taking that you're making the top 15 guys in the country.
In the country.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So I'm taking that. And then SEC, arguably, that year was the best conference. I mean, you could, of course, say ACC, Big Ten, you're going to give them the run for the money. But and then you were the player of the year in that conference. You lost all your guys. I lost the other seniors, still was able to carry our guys to some upset wins and things like that. We missed the tournament, NCAA tournament, by one game. Actually, because of Auburn. So it was us and Auburn were on the bubble. We played in the SEC tournament, and my guys, salute to Marquise Daniels, man. They ended up winning. He went on and did some great things in the tournament. Ended up going with the Mavericks. But so leading up to that, I'm thinking automatically, all right, let's get this journey started. You start off, I went to DC first, started working out, then left DC after 2 weeks and went to Houston, started working out with John Lucas. Man, the most exciting time of my life outside of college was getting ready for that, because you automatically get in the mindset of, man, I'm a pro. Like, I get to wake up every single day and focus on basketball and just train, get ready. You go, like, my job is to go play pickup. Like, the most difficult part is to go out there and do conditioning. That's life. I was like, hell yeah, this it. So I'm doing that, and then you waking up in the morning at 6 a.m. This was my day, what my day consists of. 6 a.m., get up, eat some oatmeal, go to the gym, get shots up. We play a little bit of 5-on-5. We had something called 5-on-5-on-5. And we would play that. So we would do that for 2 hours, all the way to 8. 8 o'clock, we'll go do legs in the weight room. 9 o'clock, we on the track, ready to go. With an Olympic track coach, Gil. Shout out to Gil in Houston. So we'll be on the track from 9 to 10:30, doing your core exercises, doing your runs, doing your agilities, everything. After that, go home, eat, rest for about 2 hours. You back in the gym at 1. When you back in the gym, you're getting shots up. Wait till 3, you start doing your individual drills. You're getting your handles and everything together. 5 o'clock roll around, you playing pickup. At 9 o'clock, you end your night, we're going to make 500 shots. So it was a group of 3. Me, Brandon Knight, and John Lucas III was always in a group. We make 500 shots apiece on the gun. You don't move the spot till everybody make 100 right here in the corner.
Ugh.
Everybody gonna make 100 each. That's 9 o'clock. So the first time we didn't finish until 11:30. Everybody tired to jump off and everything. But once you get in the groove of it, man, you start finishing an hour, 15 minutes, making it a game. That was the job, day in and day out. Only day you had off was a half a day on Sunday.
And this is pre-draft.
This is pre-draft, just to get ready for it. So when the draft started to roll around, you start to get closer to the draft. You start going to work out for teams. That's a joy, man. You starting to go meet all these people that you've watched on TV, going to the Chicago Bulls. You're looking up in the practice gym. They got the banners hanging up. You're meeting Bill Cartwright, B.J. Armstrong, all these people. I'm like, wow, you're in awe. And then you get on the court, start playing in these sessions where they're bringing 4 or 5 guys in that's going to train with you in this 1 hour 2 hour session. You go through that and you challenge each other. You lift each other up, but you're trying to dog them at the same time too, because they want to see everything. So you go through that. And then, mind you, when you get back to Houston during the week, we got John Lucas, who's over us, who's connected to everyone in the NBA. So we might be out there playing, and he's on his phone with the Mavericks, the Lakers, the Pistons, all day long. And people coming through the gym, it was a hotbed. So doing good in that.
Did your workouts go well?
Oh, my workouts went phenomenal.
Yeah.
Workouts went phenomenal.
Which adds to the fact that you're
yes,
I'm definitely going to hear my name.
Because I'm killing it. So we get ready to go to the pre-draft camp in Chicago, where you play the games, you do the testing, your height, your weight, your bench. They go through, test all your joints, see if there's anything wrong with you. A week before I went up there, I went up to dunk, and I felt a little tweak in my back. It wasn't nothing serious. It was just more of I need to sit out for a minute and rest. You know what I'm saying? So I rested for about 3 or 4 days, kept going to get therapy round the clock. When it was time to get ready to go to Chicago, they were like, do you want to play? I'm like, hell yeah, I want to play. In my mind, I'm thinking, man, I may not need to play because my back at any minute, the wrong move, and I don't need to get in front of everybody when everybody's in this room. It's only like 100, 120 people invited. You get up there and you tweak your back. They ain't gonna hear hey, man, I hurt my back a little bit, man. You remember that workout now? They don't want to hear that. So my back kind of tweaked during Chicago.
So you said yes, you played, even though you weren't 100%.
Yep, I went out there and played anyway. Didn't have a great performance in Chicago. So if I could do anything over, I would never have went to Chicago. I would have opted
Do you
out.
think it would have been different?
I think it would have been different.
Wow.
I saw it happen with Mario Austin, who was at Mississippi State at the time. He came out and he declined to play. Yeah. He just did the weight and everything, and he ended up getting drafted by the Bulls. But so one thing that happened, that was like the fourth game, and B.J. Armstrong and John Paxson were sitting under the basket. We were warming up. They was like, "Hey, Slay, why you ain't playing like you were up in the Chicago in the workout?" It's mind you, I was talking trash. I mean, dunking on people. Like I'm super healthy, and I didn't want to tell them, "Hey, man, my back hurting a little bit." You know what I'm saying? I was like, "Man, I'm about to pick it up." You know what I'm saying?
So they didn't even know.
No, nobody knew. You know, and so we went on through that. Draft day comes along. I remember my mom and them had a get together at the Boys and Girls Club. I was in Houston at the time, and I told John Lucas, "Hey, man, my mom and them having a party for me. Look, get together, family and close friends. I'm going to go up there and check it out. We're going to watch the draft together, this, that, and the other." And he was like, "That's cool, but I would stay here and keep my head down and grind." I said, "All right, Luke, man, but, man, it ain't me, man. My mom and them, you know, they want to celebrate this." He was like, "I understand, but I'm just telling you if it was me." So 2 days go by. So me and Luke go to lunch at Houston's. We're sitting there eating. I'm like, "Luke, man, and my mom and them really want me to come up there, man, to see this, you know what I mean, and celebrate this." He was like, "All right, I'm telling you, I would stay here."
Was he telling you that because he knew? I
think so, without telling me, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, "All right, man, I got you, Luke, man. I'm going to go up, I'm going to come right back. I'm going to be right back." Go up there, and I apparently, like when you're listening to veterans that have been through it, walk through those shoes, have contacts, resources, and connections, pay attention to it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You gotta take heed to it. So when he told me that, I went on up there and we watching the draft. Mind you, Chicago's still calling. I had a hell of a workout for Chicago and Miami. Like it's damn near in the bag. The first round go by. Get to the end, Chicago's about to pick. They called my agent phone. It was like, we're probably gonna try to get him in the second round, our first pick in the second round. I'm like, all right, cool. I ain't tripping on that. Miami got the last pick. Miami picks, what's the big kid out of North Dakota State, man? Jerome Beasley. I don't even know if Jerome stuck, man. I think Jerome played 2 years in the league and was out. But they picked Jerome Beasley over me. So then I'm like, dang. So it's Chicago. Chicago, the only one left on the clock. Chicago pick come up in the second round. They picked the dude that worked out with me, dude named Tommy Smith.
Oh.
And I'm sitting there looking like, man, I gave him that work. Like, wow. So the whole draft go off.
Did Tommy stick?
No, Tommy didn't stick either. I think he made like 1 year. So, and that's just because he was pretty much drafted. So we go through the whole draft. I'm sitting there. My agent, Miami called him, and they were like, man, we want him to come in for some league, this, that, and the other. So I'm like, all right, cool, man. So I got to go out here and tell all these people, family and friends, that thank you for coming. You know what I mean?
Was that the
most difficult day in my life. You know what I mean? Just to look at them people in the eyes, because it's not necessarily what you built up, but it's them believing in you. You know what I mean? You feel like you let somebody down, and you're like, dang, man. And I had a lump, Babs, in my throat. I couldn't swallow. Oh. Like, it felt like I was talking to them and holding my breath while I was talking. Like, I couldn't get out of there fast enough. So. And
you didn't want to be ultra emotional?
No, because, I mean, it's me. Like, I'm telling you, regardless, man, I'm going to push through it. Like, it is what it is. This only the beginning. This the beginning, man. You know what I mean? We're gonna make this. I appreciate everybody being there for me. Same time when we had B. Wright on, Brandon Wright was one of the guys that was in the that was there. We've been close friends for a long time. So, you know, I'm looking at him like, man, he look at me like, man, he's a big dog. You know what I mean? He about to come into his own. He a young phenom. And it's like, man, it wasn't nothing I could say. I was just like, I don't know what to do. You know what I mean? Wasn't no answer for it. So that was a difficult time, man. And, you know, it's interesting to see how it all turned out, how guys that got drafted, they fell by the wayside. But I will say, and we'll continue this story another time, how it all picked up. But I will say, man, the greatest thing out of that was the relationships that were formed in the summer leagues and things of that nature. When I went down to Miami, Udonis Haslam gave me some of the greatest advice moving forward, and he went through the same journey. You know what I'm saying? And got picked up by Miami, and it was you seen what happened. He was three-time champ. You know what I mean? So
worked out all right.
Yeah, and the good thing is, man, able to walk into those rooms with those guys and still, you know, when you come in, it's like, oh, what's up, Slade? You know what I mean? Like they understand. You know, so it turned out all right, but man, it was different. It was super hard. Super hard.
Crazy.
Yep.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
No.
You don't know information and you
That's
don't
the thing.
get anything. Yeah.
That's the thing. And I will say one thing I regretted about after that, I fired my agent and was ready to get me out of the country. Like
so you went over.
I hurry up and signed the turkey. I was like, man, I don't want to go to training camps or nothing like that. Miami was inviting me to training camp and I turned it down. Worst mistake of my life. Turned it down. I was like, no.
Because you were hurt.
They want to give me a partial guarantee. I'm so dumb not dumb. I'm so young and ignorant to it at this time. Yeah. I don't know better, but I didn't go back to Houston after that draft. I stayed here and worked out. I should have went back down there where I could have got guidance with it and been put in the right direction. So I would have understood.
And they would have told you to get your butt.
What a partial guarantee mean? That mean, dude, you're going to make it all the way to December, then they'll reevaluate it.
Well, Jerome Beasley, by the way.
Yeah.
I just looked him up. That went ahead of you to Miami.
Yep.
He played 2 games before he was cut.
There you go.
And then in 2010 was arrested for falling behind on child support payments.
6'10", man. I couldn't believe it when we just. And mind you, I went down there and had a pretty good summer league and everything. So it was just wild, man. Like if I would have understood what a partial guarantee was, you snatched that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's your foot in the door. And people, all they want is a foot in the door. But me being so young, dumb, prideful, like man, I'm SEC player of the year, All-American. Like, what y'all talking about, man? I went on overseas, and I mean, it still turned out great, but I had to get away. So y'all will hear the continuation of this at another day. That's my draft story.
Well, hey, turned out okay though.
Yeah, it did.
How many years did you play?
14, baby. 14. It was all right.
That's a heck of a career right there.
Yeah.
14.
Yeah. But you know what the good thing is about this is good luck to all these guys, man. We got a lot of people that's here in the state of Tennessee that's going to the draft from University of Memphis. You got people from Vanderbilt. You got people being drafted from Lipscomb. You got people from Belmont, Vandy, Tennessee. Like the list goes on and on. So if it's not being attention paid for, we just had Darius Garland on. He's an NBA All-Star now. So you know what I mean? The lights are bright, man. And I promise you, pay attention to it, man. We got some good things going on in our city.
I love it. Man, that's crazy. Thanks for sharing that.
No doubt.
I don't think you've told that whole
never
story.
Told that.
Yeah.
Never told that.
That was really interesting.
Yep.
All right. He's Ron Slay. This is 3HL. This is 104.5 The Zone. We are back. If you missed it, was it yesterday?
Yeah.
It was yesterday? We already have heard back. Yeah. Yesterday, he talked about the guy in the white F-250 that gave him a little, you're number one on the road.
Yeah. Yes, he did.
He rode in.
What?
We'll talk about that after the break. Stick around.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly. Is it time for some updates around the house? Last year, our average client received over $52,000 with a simple cash-out refinance. Let's make those home remodeling projects a reality. Start now at thehomeloanexpert.com.
3HL 104.5 The Zone. What up, Nashville? Brent Doherty, Ron Slade. There he is in his Farber red shirt.
Hey,
I'm in the building.
Hey, I'm in the building.
I'm in the building. I'm in the building.
I'm in the building.
I'm in the building. I'm in the building.
Slay's in this building. Don Davenport in the courthouse.
I wonder what's her hours. What's her courthouse hours?
I don't know. She can't offer too many details, obviously, but yeah, she had to be somewhere early this morning. She was not happy about it.
Yes, you're right. She sure wasn't.
Yeah, Jim Wyatt joins us now. His dad, a judge, very famous judge in this town. Jim Wyatt joins us now from TennesseeTitans.com. Jimmy, what's up?
Not too much. Hope you guys are doing well.
So because your dad being a judge, like, could you get out of jury duty, or did that matter?
No, I've served on jury duty before, and it's actually, other than having to get off of work, which is some people look forward to that, other people hate to do it, but it's actually, if you get a good trial, it's very interesting. And
I think the same thing.
Yeah, when I was on jury duty in the past, it's neat to just kind of see the process, to work with your fellow Nashvillians and people in your community to try to help make some tough decisions, and kind of seeing a different side of what people go through. I think it's something that everybody ought to do. I mean, I think in the past, the minute you get the jury notice, you're trying to figure out ways to get out of it. And I have talked to so many people that have done it and said, man, that was really a cool experience. So I hope Dawn enjoys it.
I think she will. So obviously everybody's talking about Traylon Burks and Rob Moore mentioning today that he has asthma. Do you remember, like, we've run the list of the Emmitt Smiths of the world and all these players that have had asthma. When I heard that news, I didn't think it was any kind of big deal, honestly, but maybe it is. I don't know. But do you remember any Titans dealing with that in the past?
Yeah, Andre Dyson way back in the day. I mean, I remember him dealt with it, but there are probably some other guys who have dealt with it because people manage it. Most people know how to manage it, and they manage it well. That sometimes maybe guys have had it and we're not even aware. But I do remember Andre having it and dealing with it, and it's something that Traylon Burks has dealt with and has found a way to be successful with it. And I don't think certainly this is something that just has cropped up on him. I think this is something he's dealt with for a while, and I think we've all seen the success he's had on the football field dealing with that. So I think eventually. I think with him, I think he's dealt obviously with that. Maybe he's dealing with some other, conditioning things, and just a combination of the two is what has kind of kept him sidelined and from being what he wants to be to this point. But I think in time when camp starts, I think he'll be good, and everybody will figure it out.
On the field, what have you noticed about him?
Well, I haven't seen, just to be completely honest, I mean, he hasn't been involved in a lot of full speed team drills. I mean, I will say that before this week, at the end of last week, I thought he made great strides. I thought you could tell that he was getting his wind back and was in better condition and, looked sure-handed. I saw improvement on the field, but just like Robert Woods, who's working his way back from the knee. I mean, I think he's been somewhat limited. I think Traylon is such a big physical receiver. I think we'll notice him more when the pads come on, when he's fighting through contact to make catches and he's breaking tackles in preseason games. I think that's when you'll see maybe what he's all about and see why the team drafted him. Up until this point, it's been kind of a ramp up period, just trying to get him ready. And fortunately, he wasn't out there today, but we'll see what happens before minicamp starts. See if he'll do minicamp next week. I mean, he's so compared to A.J. Brown, unfortunately, and here I am going to compare him to A.J. Brown again. But if we remember, A.J. Brown, during his rookie season, after he was drafted, he dealt with a hamstring injury that sidelined him for a good stretch and caused him to miss a lot of time in training camp. But people, forget about all that now. But I think in time, hopefully the same thing happens with Traylon. All this is just kind of going to be, a blip on his big picture story.
us here on 3HL on this Thursday. Hope you guys are staying cool out there. Dawn Davenport, Ron Slade.
Hey.
Joe Hunk doing a great job behind the glass.
Mm-hmm.
We will be back in studio tomorrow.
Yes,
We'll be
indeed.
talking NASCAR a little bit because obviously the race is here this weekend. I know originally we had talked about being live out at the Speedway.
So it's going to be 140
It's
on the
going to be
blacktop.
way too hot. I'm like, I don't know if we can do that. We are
Yeah.
weak. We are weak.
Yes, we are.
So, sorry, I'm throwing you in that category with me.
I'm ready. I ain't going to let you ride alone. We're going, Babs.
Okay. For anybody that's listening on their way home that did not hear your story,
Yes.
your F250 story,
Mm-hmm.
I need you to give the really short version of it just to let people know what's going on because we have found the driver
Now,
of the F250.
what had happened was I was what had happened was I was just leaving the station and going on 65 and I'm in the HOV lane going about 80. And a guy comes behind me, he's going a little faster, he honks his horn. I don't get over because I'm going 10 miles over the speed limit anyway, and it's room on the interstate. So he took offense to that, got over on the side of me, and shot me the bird, shot me the number one. You know what I mean? So when he shot that, I gave him the thumbs up, and kept on rolling.
Which I was very proud of you.
Yeah, thank you, Babs. Yeah, and I wanted to say and do other things, but I just felt, man, it's too hot outside to be playing with people, and you need to spread a little joy before spreading that, So.
So you told this story yesterday
Mm-hmm.
and said hey, so whoever you are,
Right.
in the F-250,
Yeah.
yeah,
You need to,
you need kindness in your life.
man.
Don't
You
look in the mirror, that kind of thing.
Because you don't know who it is. You don't know who I could have been, man. I could have been a lunatic. What if I was a lunatic?
Well,
and I slammed on the brakes and went behind you and started chasing you or something. Then
You are kind of a lunatic.
Yeah, but I've changed my ways.
So I was looking through Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
We have heard from White F-250 guy. And I'm just going to read
Yeah.
his entire post.
Read
Is that
it,
okay?
Babs. Yes, go ahead.
Okay. By the way, his name is Jason.
Oh,
We'll just
what
leave
up,
him at
Jay?
Jason. Okay. Here we go. He writes, okay, so White F-250 guy here with the laughy cry emoji. First, thanks for checking me on being an a-hole. Deserved for sure. Second, for the folks in my office that figured it out that this was me y'all were talking about, they appreciate the laughs and the public verification on my a-hole status.
Hey, so it was a platform to say what y'all been wanting to say in the office for years.
Well, this is what I said. I'm like, there are a whole lot of F-250s out there. There's more to this note, but there's a whole lot of F-250s out there. If your coworkers in your office figured out it was you, you're probably an a-hole who has done this before, right?
Without question, that fast. Yeah.
So here's where the jerky part of him does come out. Although, let me preface this with Jason. I was on your side on this one. I told Slay, if you're not going fast enough, you better get out of the fast lane.
You did.
Must say, though, if you are over in the speed lane and someone comes up behind, slide over or speed up.
Mhm.
Don't chill in the fast lane.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said, and I know exactly what was going on with this. Then he said, were you checking your phone? Sure looked like it.
Yeah. And
So Slay probably had his phone because he was about to take a picture of the guy and
Yes.
put it on social media
Yep.
because this is what Slay does
Yep.
until somebody said, stop doing that.
Mickey Ryan. Shout out to Mickey Ryan. My
Mickey
OG
Ryan said,
talked
"You're
to me
gonna
and I
get in
listened.
trouble."
Yep. Mickey Ryan told me don't do that. And I took it down. So, but I was about to do it again and take a picture of him and put him on social media. But
So
put the
Jason
phone
said,
down.
regardless, thanks for the reminder to stay humble and kind.
there you go, man.
So there you go. White F-250 guy
Salute to you,
has
Jason, man.
spoken.
Yeah.
Salute to you, Jason.
Yeah, hey, listen, man.
For standing up and owning it.
There ain't nothing like it, man. You know what I mean? And we all can spread love, man. It's hot out here. There's a lot going on in the world. We're losing people every day. Just, hey, man, just politely go around. You know what I'm saying?
Or
I'm gonna move
get the
up.
hell out of the
Yeah,
fast
I'll move
lane.
up. And guess what? That happened today. I saw a Porsche. A Porsche was coming up behind me, and I'm again. And police, listen, I love y'all. Please don't take this the wrong way. I was going 80 again in the 70. and I saw them flying up behind me, and I got over. I said, "No, I ain't gonna create another situation." So I got over, and they went on by. So listen, I learned my lesson too, Jay. We all learn lessons.
There you go. I just love that his coworkers at his office figured out it was him.
That's what
He's done this before.
Shout out to y'all, man. Y'all call in and tell us how he's been a great boss or coworker.
No, tell us why you knew it was him.
Yeah, that's what we need
want
to know.
The dirt on
that's
Jason.
What we know. It's Trash Talk Friday tomorrow. So
that's
call
perfect.
In. Yep, sure can.
All right, we want to hear from Jason's coworkers. Give us a call tomorrow. Can't wait. Love you guys. So glad that a bunch of you stopped by here, Scoreboard, to say hi to us and hang out with us. We appreciate it. They'll be partying all weekend long out here. This place is awesome.
Yes.
One of the old school greats here in Nashville. So come on out, hang out here, get some drinks, watch a NASCAR race in our own city and not outside where it's 104 degrees. You can watch it here at Scoreboard.
There you go.
We will be with you tomorrow. Who do we have? We have Trash Talk Friday.
We got Trash Talk Friday. That's the main thing. We may have a special guest, man. I heard one is slipping into the city, so could have a special guest come on, man. Y'all just got to pay attention to 3HL. In the meantime, you know what it is, man. God bless you. We love you.
See ya.